Welcome, everybody, to Wednesday Night Modern. We are in week 3 of our 12-week Modern League. My name is Aviva Goodman, alongside not Dominic Stryker.
It's me, Dakota Clark.
It's
Haven't been on the
Dakota
mic in a few
Clark.
years. How you doing?
We're doing great. It's so awesome to have you here tonight. Dakota were you the first commentators for the stream here at NRG?
Not exactly. The store has been doing different streams for our weekly events, back and forth here and there, on and off again for close to a decade. Starting with Matt Dow, Matthew Hausler. What's his freaking name? Andrew.
Andrew
Anyway,
Donnelly.
Andrew Donnelly was the man for a while. Anyway, we are here with Martin Slawinski playing Rhinos and Brennan Sphere on Murktide. Kind of a classic modern matchup.
Absolutely, yeah. Rhino's definitely one of the top decks in the meta right now. Murktide always hanging out there in the top tier as well. As your players get started off here, we'll see who's on the play. For those joining us in chat, we're glad to have you here. Who do you think's gonna win tonight?
It looks like Marty's on the play at least. So we have that going for us.
Yeah, Marty's gonna start us off here. Couple of decks that start off with some pretty basic land passing here. Sometimes Murktide has some turn one plays like a Ragavan or a Dragon's Rage Channeler. Looks like Brendan's gonna fetch on his first turn here. Shock in a Steam Vents and play Ragavan.
Obviously, I do a lot more buying and pricing Magic cards nowadays than playing, but it feels like this isn't any kind of lopsided matchup. I have to imagine this is just like 50-50. Murktide and Rhinos each can just like win any game with the right draws, with the right sequencing, right?
I agree. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of interaction between the two. As you see, Marty used a Dead Gone to get rid of the Ragavan. Brendan, of course, playing a blue deck, has counter spells for footfalls and that kind of stuff as well. Rhinos can sort of overwhelm Murktide if they can't get like a big Murktide on the board because those 4/4 bodies are bigger than a 2/1 Ragavan or a 3/3 Delirious Dragon's Rage Channeler.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's about timing. Murktide's just like this. Everyone loves to say the word tempo, but this tempo deck where it just has like good threats that cost 1 or 2 mana, and then it has counter spells, right? And the most important card, in Marty's deck is the Rhinos, obviously, the Crashing Footfalls. Otherwise, the deck doesn't do that much. I mean, they have other threats somewhat, but it's really about those Rhinos. So Brendan kind of just gets to treat the matchup as counter this spell and nothing else matters. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, there is some what's the word? Action. I don't know quite the word I'm looking for here, but yeah, Marty has interaction at the very least. He's got subtleties in his deck, so that can help with some of the creature draws as well. Because Brennan usually is going to win, or a Murktide deck is usually going to win with creature damage, combat damage. They do have like lightning bolts and that kind of thing that they can use to go over the top.
Yeah, it seems like just a lot of pivoting, obviously, as blue-red decks tend to do. Take control of, or counter what matters, obviously, and then just get in their damage when they can.
Absolutely, yeah. Brennan has resolved a second Murktide, which has stuck around here.
Ragavan.
What did I say? Murktide?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, we like never see Murktides on this stream ever. We have Murktide decks on the stream a lot. We have Yawgmoth decks, and we usually see Yawg out of there. But the namesake card of this deck we nearly never see, and I feel like that speaks to the strength of the deck and that they doesn't need its namesake card. It has a lot of good draws, a lot of different ways to win.
Yeah, I think there was a small period there where the deck was being, like, early on, was just being called Blue-Red Ragavan. But Murktide is a little bit more emblematic after multiple Blue-Red decks started playing Ragavan, like the Breach decks, etc.
Yeah, there's the Is It Breach deck. There was the Prowess deck before Murktide was printed. Or maybe before Murktide was really like brewed properly. There was the Prowess deck, which has fallen a little by the wayside. There's also like the Grixis Wizards deck now.
Yeah.
Lots of blue-red, sometimes splashing black, like Spells Matters deck.
But Marty did the thing. He has resolved the Footfalls into a Ragavan. They have 10 power versus a 2/1. Let's see if Brendan can waste multiple spells to deal with this one casting of the Charlotte's Agent.
Yeah, his best spell here is Unholy Heat. If he can get it Delirious, that Mishra's Bauble will help a lot getting another card type into the graveyard there. I think we have Land Creature Artifact currently because of the fetch. So we just need one more card.
What's your... Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
We could throw... I was going to say we could throw like a bolt at the Shardless Agent or throw a bolt at his face to get that Delirium and then... trade 1 for 1. That's the tricky thing about Rhinos is that they put 2 to 3 threats on the board, depending on which Cascade spell you use.
Exactly.
So 1 for 1ing is just really difficult in defeating a Rhinos deck. As Marty's gonna crash in here with the 2 Rhinos, bring Brennan down to 9.
Right, like I said, you almost end up with a 3-for-1 here, where if Brendan wants to deal with all 3 of these cards, well, that's 3 cards versus 1 casting of the Charlotte's Agent, which is going to just bring Brendan way down on resources. I was going to ask, what is your preferred layout, as it were, for Graveyard Exile? Because I see Brendan's graveyard over here parallel to his deck, which is pretty common, but it's also common for people to like have their exile be that horizontal.
Yeah, I definitely put my exile sideways and then my graveyard facing the same way as my regular cards. So exile, it goes like deck, exile, and then graveyard.
Yeah, we're talking about Delirium, and I'm looking at the graveyard like, wait, is that exiled? And no, I'm just confused.
Yeah,
Brendan just has their own style.
There's all sorts of ways Magic players like to put out their decks, put out their battlefields. Some people play with like lands in front and that kind of stuff. So different ways you can do stuff there.
Second crash of the Rhinos. Brendan in a tight spot. 9 life, almost dead here. Oh, excuse me. No, we're on Brendan's turn, so he's going for the attack. So he has some opportunities to get a decent flip off of Marty's deck. The Rhinos do have trample, by the way, so he doesn't get to get like a full value chump block there. Even if he blocks, he's going to take 3 damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ragavan is good on the early turns. Struggles a lot in those later turns. Oh, are we gonna buff up? Are we actually gonna use the text on the outburst here? Or we pass combat now.
I think we're still in Brennan's turn. Yeah,
still in his turn. Okay,
so
we're just
going for end step, more damage.
There we go.
If you have an answer, well, you can't answer all 4 Rhinos. There's no way.
Exactly. Yep.
Brennan basically tapped out here with the fetch land as he's at 9 life. Cracking that fetch land is going to put him down to 0 against these 2 Rhinos.
Yeah, I think I don't know if Murktide plays Force Negation, so that could be like the only... It is his turn, so I believe you can't even Force Negation there.
Right. I could be wrong. It's pretty common for them to play the Forces Negations, but yeah, down to 1 life here for Brendan, so pretty much needs to find something here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would even get him out here. Like I said, the Unholy Heats are really the best card that we're looking for here.
Especially, if you're playing like X amount of heats. Yeah, Brendan just scoops it up there. Obviously, really not any sequence of draws there that he could have found, especially with Marty with the full grip of cards still.
Let's take a look at this deck list, though. We've grabbed one off of MTG Goldfish here, so this isn't Marty's exact 75, but this is vaguely what he's working with here. You guys know what a Rhinos deck look like, but we'll review it just in case you don't. His sideboard, which he's currently working on here, will be Endurances, Magus of the Moon, Tishana's Tidebinder, Brotherhood, and Flame of Anor, Mystical Disputes, Force of Vigors, and Blood Moons.
I'll be sure to yell at Marty for the chat later about not submitting his deck so we get the exact information here, but it's kind of weird. Murktide's like a strictly fair deck, if you will, if you consider Ragavan a fair card. So it almost feels like nothing's super relevant. Maybe I think the idea is just to get more card advantage. Something like Flame of Anor in the right situation could, swing the tempo. And then obviously counter spells like Mystical Disputer intended to be good against other counter spells, so that can give him an extra mana to protect his Violent Outbursts, his Charlotte's Agents, and obviously the things that they cascade into.
Absolutely. There's also the idea of play versus draw. Sometimes you want to bring certain things in or wait until you're on the play versus the draw here. Marty will be on the draw since he won game 1. But let's take a look at Brendan's list here. This is his full 75. He did submit his deck list.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thank you very much, friends. So let's see what his sideboard looks like here. We got Flusterstorms, Surgical Extraction, Brotherhood, and Dismember, Mystical Dispute, Engineered Explosives, Relic of Progenitus, Dress Down, and Blood Moon.
I started off the match saying that this feels like just kind of a 50-50 based on my understanding of how Modern works nowadays. But, that first matchup was kind of rough, right? Like, we came to realize that, if Marty resolves the Rhinos, it's a whole different ball game. I mean, Brendan has lots of counter spells, but at the same time, if that Rhino resolves, it's kind of hard for him to win if he doesn't have his own instantly huge Murktide to respond. Post sideboard, though, I mean, Marty didn't have necessarily anything to, nail in the coffin for the matchup. On the other side, Brendan, obviously the biggest card against Rhinos, or most common big card, is going to be Engineered Explosives here. Just gives you that, put it on the board and let them, scare them into never casting the Rhinos, or force them to have something to destroy the engineering explosives while you just sit there and get ready to blow them up. Obviously, things like Flusterstorm as well, in that Marty's always going to have at least 2 spells on the stack to make 2 copies of that Flusterstorm when he goes for the Cascade. Marty's a 3-color deck, so Blood Moon, I don't know if that's relevant. He has red cards, he has basics, but at the same time, maybe that's something that Brendan will reach for, depending on how many cards he wants to take out, like those lightning bolts.
That's a good point. Yeah, there's a ton of useful spells in his sideboard. The question is how much he wants to dilute that main board plan. I'm also sort of interested in this surgical extraction. That does mean you have to let a single Crushing Footfalls resolve first before you can grab it.
Or you counter it.
Or you can counter it and then grab it as well. As we see them get into game 2 here, though, Brendan will start off the same way as game 1 with a turn 1 Ragavan.
Yeah, Surgical's interesting in that, we said earlier, excuse me, is that a Shivan Reef?
It is.
Oh dear. Anyway.
Not the best spell, or not the best land to start off with, for sure.
When you need to cast your spells, you need to cast your spells. Yeah, we started off the match saying that how this, Brendan could hypothetically just treat the matchup as all I need to care about is Footfalls, and then I can basically beat the rest of your deck. So that kind of gives merit to your idea about bringing in Surgical Extraction, as in, like, if I get rid of your Surgicals, I can basically do whatever I want and not worry too much anymore.
Yeah.
That being said, kind of worries me about the notion of overboarding, as it were. Like you just have too many cards and that are situational, and you don't have them in the right situations per se. But the catch-alls are what matters, I guess.
Yeah, the nice thing about the Murktide deck on sideboarding is they have a bunch of dig spells, right? Lots of cantrips. Expressive Iteration is a huge card in the deck where you can sort of find the answers. You don't always have to have them in your hand in games 2 and 3.
Yep.
Which is nice.
Unless Marty had the Tishana's Tidebinder in the main deck, it looks like he brought one in from the sideboard. Obviously, unless he just had one in the main and decided that he wanted to keep one there. It's another threat at least.
Yeah.
Since Footfalls are priority number 1 for Brendan. Tidebinder at least gives you that 3/2. You get to counter a Ragavan trigger, for example. Even counter a Murktide growing if that comes up somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. You can or shrink the Dragon's Rage Channeler so it just stays on the ground and doesn't get buffed as well. There's a couple of different things Tishana's can do. I'm trying to think.
That's a good trick, actually. Yeah, they attack with Channeler. You take off its. You need a trigger to actually turn it off.
You need a trigger, yeah. You can't just play it. You do have to respond to a triggered or activated.
For sure.
We're back on Brennan's turn, though. Swinging in with this Ragavan once again. We'll hit a land this time. Put Marty down to 16 here.
Not getting that full value out of the Ragavan just yet, but we have more threats.
Just play Dragon's Rage Channeler and pass. Just 1 land in Brennan's graveyard there, so just a 1/1 for now. But has some ways to enable the Surveil triggers, which you could also Tishana's.
I want to try to get a glimpse at Brennan's hand over there, see if he has those Flusterstorms lying in wait.
Yeah, let me see if you want to turn this so we can get a bigger preview window, just so we...
Sure.
There you go. Whoa. Got the big TV here on our side of the... Or on our side of the couch, the screen.
What's up, chat?
How's everyone doing? You guys can hear us all right?
Hello, hello.
Rhinos has no 2-mana plays. That's not technically correct. They have stuff like Fire and Ice, which doesn't get hit by Cascade spell, but you can cast one of those sides and then have spells like that.
If there's something you care about, at least, yeah, for sure. Counterspell on the Fire Ice, which is going to be devastating, but Marty has the Mystical Dispute, and Brennan feels really bad unless...
Oh my goodness, look at this counter magic war.
Battle, battle, battle. The stack empties, and Ragavan and Dragon Rage Chandler make it out alive. Attack for 3, trigger.
Down to 10 on Marty's side. Flurry spells there. Marty did his best. Can counter against the counter deck, though, if he's got it all at least.
See, Brennan does have at least 1 Flusterstorm. Unholy Heat, I think it's a Tidebinder.
2 lands only on Brennan's side of the field is still managing to keep hold of this treasure as well that Ragavan had. Managing his mana pretty well here. That Shivan Reef on his turn 1 hasn't hurt too much either.
I think Jay for Fid, we did get the trigger. He flipped over a Footfalls and made the treasure, actually. Might have just missed that with a quick blink there. You know what 2 lands in play does mean for Brennan, though? More spells in hand.
That's a good point. Yes. Two lands is a little shaky, but you can cast just about all of your spells, even a Murktide if you got the graveyard to enable it.
Yeah, Murktide. I would say like spiky players, if you will, or like players that want to feel smart tend to gravitate towards Murktide decks. Players that have experience in Legacy, for example, too, because it's a lot of just one mana spells. And you have like a lot of fluidity in how you want to like spend your turn every single, every single turn.
I don't know if that's flattering because I used to play Murktide.
Well, sure. I mean, it's not an easy deck, I would say. Like it's because you do have so many options based on the average CMC of your deck.
Yeah, as Brennan goes to combat here, Marty will try and catch him with a Cascade spell, but it will get Fluster Storm like we saw in his hand, so we'll be able to proceed 2 damage here, knock Marty down to 7. This Dragon's Rage Channeler is still not delirious, despite all the cards in Brennan's graveyard.
Yeah, we got instant, artifact, and land so far.
Mm-hmm.
Lorien Revealed flipped over to the Ragavan. Notably, you cannot cycle that. You just have to cast it if you could.
Yeah, not quite at 5 mana on Brennan's side of the field, so I don't think we're going to see a draw 3. That'd be pretty strong for the Murktide deck.
Looks like Brennan actually has also drawn a Murktide. He doesn't necessarily need it, but it'll help if Marty gets to resolve some threats here, and Brennan gets to go over the top.
Marty will grab some blockers here, or we'll try to at least. Brennan does have mana up. Of course, you don't want to counter the Cascade spell because it is a cast trigger, so even if it doesn't resolve itself, you'd still get that Cascade. So you want to counter the spell it finds. I
made that mistake in my very first standard FNM. Didn't feel good.
You only make the mistake once.
They went Bloodbraid Elf, and I was like, counter it, Mana Leak. I was so nervous. Like, counter the Bloodbraid Elf, and they're like, okay, bin the Bloodbraid Elf, Blightning you, feel bad.
Oh, no. Marty flipped over his entire deck? Are we out of Crashing Footballs?
That's definitely the third. I don't know if we've seen a fourth somehow.
I think maybe because Brendan hit one off the Ragavan.
No, yeah, I think Marty's gone for it twice, and then...
Does he have one in hand? I think I saw it.
Wait,
yeah, there's one in hand.
Wait, did he... Oh, so he whiffed?
I think he just wants the blocker and has to flip over his deck as part of resolution of Cascade.
No, I know. I'm just surprised that there's not another one in his deck. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I think we had 2 get countered, 1 hit by a Ragavan, and then 1 in hand. So that's a full 4.
Oh, okay. So he has countered 2 of them. I didn't realize that.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was Dispute and then Flusterstorm, and then 1 flipped and then 1 in hand. Okay, yeah. Forgot about the very first one from I think it was just the third turn.
Yeah, reshuffle, hopefully get some good stuff on top there. Hit a Violent Outburst off the top, which is great for Marty to get out of the way at the very least. We'll see a Murktide get cast here while he's resolving the Delve. We'll see a Subtlety come down, so still has to pitch those cards. That's part of the casting cost there.
He did, yep. And
Marty hanging on by a thread here.
He got closer to Delirium, but... well, I guess not actually, because the Subtlety will put it on the top or bottom, not in the graveyard. And Brendan puts it on the bottom, realizing that he has the clock that he needs in play.
Yeah, just get in with these little creatures here.
Are we definitely still at 7? It's hard
to
tell
say it.
glare.
Yeah, I got to remind them to put it on the other side of the board.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're already deep in the tank with, I think, just 1 card in hand.
Yeah, what is it? It's got to have some... It's got to be a spell, right?
At a very, very tiny glance, I thought it was Flame of Anor, which is an interesting...
that's real. That's a tank-worthy card for sure. Let me get that up on the screen for folks there at home. It's got a couple of modes.
I could be wrong on which card it was, but I think it was a borderless Flame of Anor. Let's find out.
Card fetcher.
I nailed it. Damn.
Nice. Look at you.
Okay, Flame of Anor, 4 modes. You get to use 2 of the modes if you have a wizard. Marty does not. So he's going to use the mode to draw 2 cards. Didn't find any answers to the board, and we'll scoop them up for game 3.
All right, we'll go to a game 3 here. 1 game apiece to each of our players. They're going to shuffle up here, and I'll remind you guys at home, all you wonderful folks, hit that follow button. And if you're feeling very generous, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That's how we stay streaming and bringing you fantastic content. If you have Amazon Prime, you might have a Twitch Prime that you could throw our way.
Yeah, that's how you get notified when we go live each week. We go live at least once a week on Wednesdays. If you like Pokemon, we do that on Thursdays as well. And we're always trying to figure out if there's possibly a way to fit in more streams per week. But definitely we're here for every single Modern week, including, especially for this new Modern League. We've been doing Modern at Nerd Rage Gaming for at least 5 years. Well, every Wednesday at religiously on other weekends or other nights of the week otherwise. But the Modern League began a little brainchild of yourself and a few other locals. And so we're in week 3 now. Players are earning points towards that 12-week leaderboard, and the top 8 of that leaderboard will take home a pretty nice store credit purse.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We already have our week 2 leaderboard up on our socials, and I think I might have it here as well. I might be able to cut to it later. Anyway, as players shuffle up here, Marty will be on the play for game 3.
Mr. Last Music, I do hear ya. Modern does have, I wouldn't say a solved format, but there's certainly a tier 1 in the format. We do try our best to bring on different brews. We have a lot of players in the room that try to bring interesting, fun creations every single week. People like Alex Luke, people like Ray Bosk, but it's kind of hard to avoid Murktide and Rhinos sometimes, as they are at the top of the food chain, as it were.
Indeed. I feel like we have a pretty good spread of diversity and meta game at the store here.
Yeah. We have the players playing the best decks, and then we have a good chunk getting a little creative there as a dead will destroy this Dragon Rage Channeler preordained for Brendan.
Mm-hmm. Not super recent, but it did get unbanned. Immediate include back into Murktide. Very useful card. Cantrip there.
And a dare I say aggressive Mystical Dispute on this preordain. Brendan goes for main phase preordain before his land drop, and Marty gets to think to himself, does he need the land? All right, counter that. I'm not going to let you sculpt your draw anymore. I have the mana available. I'm going to spend it so I don't just, quote unquote, waste my mana for this turn. And I have another dispute in the background anyway.
Yeah, before Brendan played that land, I actually really dig that. I dig that play. Because to me, that looks like a player trying to dig for a land.
We saw that come up in our champs, actually. It was really cool. In the top 4, Raja Suleiman versus Jonathan Hobbs, excuse me, plays his turn 1, like a little siren flyer blue guy that makes a map token.
Yeah.
Pass. Raja plays second land, pass. And before playing second land, Hobbs goes for the main deck, or main phase, crack the map, and Raja just tanks. He's like, "Are you digging for a second land? All right, go for throw your 1/1." And then Hobbs plays second land. It was really solid.
Yeah, those are the kind of plays that you gotta think about when you're playing some high tier Magic. Land drops are super important.
Not like it's something that Raja slams down. You have to think about it and think about the implications of blowing that gopher to the throat. But he took the risk, and then Hobbs played second land and didn't get punished there. It was pretty great. As Marty gets the Rhinos, the namesake
he
board
did the
state.
thing. He played the crashing footfalls. Here they come. Brennan did not have any action to respond to that, so we'll see if he's able to stabilize here in the face of 10 power.
Brennan cracks that fetch, take a draw. It's another blue-red land in the form of Shivan Reeve.
Oof.
And gonna do our thing here where we just say, you have 10 power, how can I deal with it? It's Engineered Explosives.
There you go. There's a sideboard card. That'll definitely get him out of hot water here. Just gonna play it on 0 because that'll clean up those tokens. Still a little bit of power left on the field that Marty can crash in with in the Shardless Agent, but that clock has gotten a lot longer now.
Probably a small sigh of relief from Brendan too that this EE didn't get didn't get Force Negation here.
Yeah, that's definitely a card that Rhinos plays. So that could have easily happened here as well. We'll just suspend another Footfalls though. Crash in for 2 damage. Not quite a crash. A little meander in for a couple points of damage.
Taking this time. It's like the scene in Jumanji where there's a huge stampede. And at the very end of the stampede, a lone rhino, kind of like the runt of the litter, kind of just tramples in at the very end.
That's a great scene. It's crazy. That scene, I gotta go back and see if that translates to modern day, like CGI. Like, do you think they had? Because I distinctly remember like a full. Like the kid gets trapped in the car and the rhinos are stampeding on top of the car. So that can't be practical effects, right?
It's gotta. Well, yeah. You think they had a rhino? I think that was there was a little bit of CGI there. They did not have a rhino on set. They were busy doing Home Alone or something.
Yeah, I wonder if that translates to modernize. Because I remember that movie very, very fondly. Brennan gonna dash this Ragavan and attack. It's gonna get deaded though.
I'm counterspelling this. Let's see if Brendan agrees. Excuse me.
CGI is a tad noticeable. No, okay. I can never watch it again now. I'll just keep my happy memory.
By the way, we're only talking about the only Jumanji that exists. We don't acknowledge Dwayne The Rock Johnson's version.
Oh, very hipster. No, we don't do remakes here. No, thank you. I know we play Magic, lots of reprints, but my movies, OGs only.
Brandon disagrees and lets the Regavan die, holding up the counterspell for something more juicy later on.
Maybe a Murktide. Yeah, protect the Murktide instead. We'll delve 5 cards, see how many counters we can grab out of the graveyard there.
Kind of feel like I would rather keep a land or exile the land and keep EE in the graveyard for delirium purposes.
Card
but
diversity. Yeah, I agree with that as well.
the bane of a Murktide's existence, a subtlety, but Brandon has kept the counterspell, and now he has a huge threat, actually winning the race by a landslide here.
Mm-hmm. Life totals. Let me see here. Bryce, can you tell them to move their thank you. Yeah, just so we can see exactly what Marty's at here.
Down or up, anywhere but there.
Mm-hmm. It's just like the one spot of glare.
Oh my god, perfect, amazing. 10 to 16.
Wonderful, wonderful, yeah. Relevant clock 3 turns technically for Brendan because it is a 7/7.
Yeah.
If Marty, fetches shocks a little bit down here.
The power of lightning bolt.
We have a lightning bolt.
Yep.
All right, smack in there. Bring Marty down to 9.
Marty playing his cards pretty close to the chest. And ooh, Tideminder counter the suspend trigger, so this card just stays exiled forever.
Right, that's what Dom was saying last week. How that works, because you can't take any more counters off of it.
Yeah, so it says like at the upkeep or something like that, take off the counter. Then if it has 0 counters, cast it. So that's a separate trigger, and it says so when it says then if it has 0, Brennan says stifle.
Yeah, incredible play with Tishana's Tidebinder there. That card does so many cool things, and that is one of the many. We'll see Marty just go for another one here. Could have Tishana the Cascade trigger, I believe.
Yeah.
So you couldn't get that one. We'll just get another one.
Debatable if you had to Tidebinder it, because obviously Brennan has the win on the next turn with a lightning bolt.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, maybe not worth risking it.
Yeah.
What's the Tidebinder gonna do otherwise anyway?
The Tidebinder represents... No, it doesn't represent the lethal damage because that Charlotte is on the ground too.
Yeah, but we had the bolt that we talked about earlier.
Oh, does he have a bolt?
No, yeah.
Oh, I was just hypothesizing.
No,
I was like, oh, that'd be cool if he had a bolt, but he actually does have it.
Yeah,
okay, sick.
There's a white border bolt lingering over there that's going to hopefully finish off this game unless Marty has something sneaky up his sleeve, which he doesn't in the form of 2
double
endurances.
endurance is not going to help him out there. Those Rhinos are firmly on the ground. That Murktide will fly right over, tanking a little bit, just making sure that we're not forgetting anything Marty could have.
Brendan in that position where he's like, okay, I'm going to win this game, but let me try to think of like the couple different ways that I could somehow lose this game.
Absolutely. Yeah. You don't want to do it too much, though, because we have seen players play too passively and then just not have lethal.
Wait a minute.
Oh, did he just pass?
I got to be missing something.
Oh, my goodness. Did he pass?
So I think the only reason to pass there is he's scared of...
Oh, because the endurance. The endurance has reach.
He didn't have mana to cast endurance, did he?
You could evoke it. Can you block during?
No. No, yeah, you can't block with it. And he didn't even know about endurance. Maybe he was just scared of force negation on his bolt, but you can just bolt in the upkeep, and then Marty can just hardcast the force.
I feel like if you're afraid of a counter, you bolt. You bolt before combat.
Well,
and then just.
He's gonna
right.
If he's
and
gonna counter,
now Marty's got endurance mana up. Oh my god. There's the bolt. Oh, bolt the Mutavault.
Marty sees his bolt and goes, "Why didn't you just bolt me, bro?" I mean, I could be entirely missing something, but
I feel like we definitely do that a lot as commentators. Like, we think we see the line perfectly, and then we go out and talk to the players, and they're like, "Actually, I was playing around this." All right.
Oh, goes for the unholy heat and then realize, excuse me, sorry, I do not have delirium. Let's not cast that just this moment. But
not quite. Okay, cleans up a lot of Marty's board during combat there.
Draws polluted delta.
Go down to 2 life though.
He's dead on the board as far as Brennan's concerned, but Marty's not totally sure of that. That being said, no reason why Marty wouldn't attack.
All right, Unholy, he can clean up a Charlotte's Agent regardless of delirium, so that's gas there.
The board is quote-unquote stabilized, but Marty could have any number of ways to get rid of the Murktide, including just an Otawara channel, something like that.
Well, he's got the Otawara already played. I doubt he plays more than 1 copy of that card.
It's possible, but yeah.
Now he can just play out an Endurance as well if he wants. Which
yeah.
he will do. That has reach, which is a very...
Yeah, just going for the flash threat.
Relevant keyword here.
an end of turn flash threat. Brendan has nothing to do.
Yeah, Fetch Shock will bring Marty down to 6.
Yeah, he just scoops it up. He doesn't even make him attack.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
I feel like that.
I'm gonna ask Brendan after this
Yeah,
match.
that I think
like,
we need to debrief on that game
like
there.
what were you so scared of, brother?
Alrighty, let me see if our backup match is still happening. Where is my button? Dakota, stall for me, please.
Well, you see, on the backup we have someone you might know as Brian Tepper, and they like playing. Well, they used to like playing Beanstalk decks, but the Beanstalks are gone in this format, as you may be aware. That being said, Tepper likes playing the old control deck, so we try to put them on the backup match, so we actually, have time to go to them, since they're not going to be finished all too quickly most of the time. Brennan doing some sideboarding. We see the mystical disputes. We do actually see some surgical extractions. I personally argue that might be a little bit of overboarding, but like we said, if you can snag a footfalls with that surgical, the game's kind of easy from there. Let me know in the chat if you agree or not. Blood Moon's also a consideration. It looks like Brendan did opt for them. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what Brendan brought out, obviously. Obviously, all these cards have their spot in the matchup depending on the scenario, but
I think Bryce changed it up since I checked the stream deck to make sure it was good, and then I don't. I have a time shifted match button. I think we're just gonna go to a quick break here while we get stuff sorted out. Thank you so much for watching round 1 coverage. We will be right back with round 2. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned.
don't go anywhere. Hey, we figured it out. Thanks for your patience.
We figured it out, and then it went away.
Boom. Now we figured it out.
Boom.
Took a
Did
little
it.
while.
Sick.
Took a little while, but we're here deep in game 2. Brian Tepper versus Dominic Stryker.
Yeah, I had to get my co-commentator on feature match here. He's playing Amulet Titan, Tepper rocking his usual deep fried Rhinos, and there's the namesake card, Elder Deep Fiend. Deep fried Rhinos, Elder Deep Fiend on the field there. We got lots on the board. We got rings on either side. We have an Amulet of Vigor, an animated Mycosynth Garden. What's going on here? We got life totals at 8 to 9. Excuse me. Dominic won game 1.
Yeah, Elder Deep Fiend was some sweet tech that was brought in when as a way to trigger the beans, obviously, because Deep Fiend gets to cost less mana if you have something to emerge it, and Tepper just said, "I like this card. I'm gonna keep playing it, even though there's no beanstalk payoffs."
Yeah, now we cascade. We still have Charles' Agent Cascade package, so we are throwing. We used to cascade into Ren and 6. Dom convinced Tepper, showing off his hand there. Lots of lands.
I mean, Amulet's like a 36 land deck, right? So.
Yeah. Showing off his hand there. Dom convinced Tepper to put in Footfalls because it's such a good cascade spell. I might as well put it into the package here of all the other cards that Brian plays.
Feels like that's just the power of triomes and modern Magic nowadays. Like
Indeed. Yeah, you can play a lot. I wouldn't call Brian's deck jank, but it's definitely a brew.
Yeah, Brian just plays like a smattering of good cards. Well, Elder Deep Fiend is arguably a bad card, but he just plays a kind of a slew of good cards, and there's no rhyme or reason, no structure. He's not like, well, I'm a control deck, so I have to play this card. No, he's just like, I'm gonna play Rhinos. I'm gonna play the Ring, and you just have 1 mana Leyline Bindings to clean everything up for you.
Yeah, that card is definitely really good. Leyline Binding, the Ring, lots of good cards still in Brian's deck for sure.
Looks like there's an EE on 0 for Dom. Maybe just because he knows that Tepper has Rhinos, which I guess he needs to be, aware of and cautious of, but...
This Elder Deep Fiend is nothing to laugh at either, though. It's got a hefty stat line on it itself. I believe it's a 5.6, 5.7, vaguely around there. Maybe a 6. No, it looks like a 5.6 to me.
It is a 5.6. Card saw a lot of play in Standard during its time. The Team Merge deck, if you will.
Team Merge. Oh, I like that.
It was blue, red, green, obviously. Tepper goes for the upkeep Ice, tapping down a Boros Garrison, cutting off 2 mana from Dom Stryker, and drawing a card for his troubles. This is a second Ice. Okay, going for a Time Walk here. Doing his best to just get Dom dead in some fashion on this next turn. Trying to see. Yeah, no more, as far as I can tell, no more ways to put more damage into play on Tepper's side to actually finish things off next turn, but he's doing a good job of doing that time walk, as I mentioned.
Yeah, tap down the Urza Saga, I think perhaps to prevent a construct token being made. That would be a good blocker there.
Absolutely.
It does die to the engineered explosives, but there's no reason for Dom to pop that at this moment. These burden triggers on each of these rings is getting pretty scary, I would say.
Pretty out of hand, yeah.
Yeah. We know Brian likes to dig really deep with his ring. He's got ways to deal with that for sure. You can always play another ring to get rid of those counters for sure. I think he might play Teferi as well.
Double Amulet means that a single land drop here in the form of Gruul Turf just created 4 mana for Dom. And then there's 2 more mana in the form of the Slayer Stronghold and the Beseiju. So Dom could cast something like a Titan if they drew it, but he's in the tank, so it doesn't look like they have that luxury.
Yeah, lots of math in an Amulet Titan deck. We haven't had one on in a long time. Dom likes to play it, though. Bryce likes to play it as well, our producer. Here comes an Arboreal Grazer, though. Oh, no, that's a prime.
Yeah.
Is it a prime time?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got confused by the retro border. I thought it was another Arboreal
No,
Grazer.
yeah, TSR, Time Spiral Remastered, Primeval Titan.
We'll get a Mystic Sanctuary? No.
Last turn, Dom flashed us his hand of 7 lands. Easy peasy, rips the prime time.
Easy peasy, get some more lands. All right, we got some mana floating happening here. These bounce lands with Amulet. Here comes the Amulet Titan math.
All right, you need to get Lit Jara Mirror Lake on the screen.
Oh, that was the card he got today. Yeah.
I saw that in an order, and I was like, this must be for some kind of like pauper deck or something.
Lit Jar Mirror Lake. Match B.
Card preview.
Yeah. Match B card preview. There we go.
We're figuring it out here, folks. Lit Jara Mirror Lake enters the battlefield tapped. You can pay a whole 5 mana, green, blue, and 2 to sacrifice it, make a token that's a copy of a target creature you control. So basically, you get to break this for a clone, make another primetime, which he has done. Searching for 2 more lands. Going to come into play tapped. Going to get 2 untapped triggers from the double Amulet of Vigor thanks to the Mike's Gardens.
And then he's going to grab the land that gives it haste at some point here.
Yeah, so he has Slayer Stronghold in hand, which I believe is the haster one. There's a Slayer Stronghold and the Summoning Fortress, and I get them mixed up all the time. But
I do too.
I think Stronghold is one that gives it haste, so he doesn't really have a way to untap that as of right now. That being said, Amulet gets to kind of do whatever it wants, and so they probably have a way to do something that I'm not aware of.
Here's Slayer Stronghold.
Yeah, that's the Vigilance haste one.
And then Sun Home.
Basically, when Amulet has 2 copies of that namesake card, they can. It always feels like they can win from any board state somehow as long as they have 2 amulets in play. I'm going to try and figure it out. Still 6 mana in play, or in the pool after casting technically 2 Prime Titans in the form of the Lit Jara Mirror Lake. New tech from Kaldheim, apparently.
New tech? Old? I don't know.
Yeah. Now, what percentage of Dom's decision to be an Amulet player do you think comes from one of the best Amulet players being another Dom?
Oh, I feel like he might get mad you suggested that.
Talking about Dominic Harvey, obviously.
Yeah.
Canadian local, as it were.
Top 8'd the Pro Tour with Amulet Titan.
Yeah, he did actually, yeah. He's been playing Amulet for years, does a lot of work on the deck for all of his... I think he has a Patreon currently, right? Either way, give him a listen on the Dominaria's Judgment... Dominharvia's Judgment podcast.
Dominharvia, yeah.
I'm sure they get to chat about Amulet and all that fun stuff. It's not fun for me, though, because math is hard.
Yeah, no, I definitely am not an Amulet Titan player. I respect the heck out of both Doms for playing this deck with any sort of skill.
All right, so...
Here comes a Dryad of the Elysian Grove. I believe that gives another land drop as well.
Yeah, got that from channeling Otawara on a Leyline binding. So the Dryad comes back. Should have 1 more land drop. A huge grip of lands. Let's see if you can find the win. Tepper all but F6 as he just watches and sees if Dom can figure it out.
He's still got mana up as well. So he could have interaction here at some point. Hasn't maybe seen the card he wants to interact with. I feel like maybe one of those Prime Titans would have been the play. Because you can't really interact with all these land drops here unless he's got Tishana's. He could have a Tishana's waiting. Here comes the Valakuts, though.
Sorry about that to cut you off there. Valakut uses that second land drop to play it, And I believe he gets 1 Bolt trigger out of there thanks to the Dryad. That being said,
In response to, you can't respond to the Valakut being played, but in
no,
response to the trigger, we can grab this Dryad.
right, there's several triggers, including 2 Amulet triggers there, so gets to respond and get rid of the Dryad again.
Okay, okay.
Leyline Binding obviously gets rid of the Dryad before Valakut fully checks, which I believe is going to be what prevents the damage. And Tepper takes a full 4 damage, down to
From
3.
his ring. Very, very scary.
The cool thing about Ring is that when you're taking, these piles of damage, it just draws you into ways to get rid of your own ring or reset the ring, and
Right. So we'll draw 5 here.
kind of disgusting.
Good, good. Good rips. No whammies. I see a Tishana's Tie Binder, a Wear Tear,
Could we pull up Solitude really quickly?
Minimo. Sure.
I want to find out if Solitude can target your own stuff. I'm pretty sure it can, but a lot of those newer effects do have wording like only the opponent's stuff. Because that's a pretty common trick in Legacy against decks like Burn, where you're like, target creature. Yeah, so you can actually, like, if Tepper gets, really in a bad spot against his own copy of the One Ring, he could, like, Solitude the Elder D Fiend, gain 5 life there if he needs to, but he found a second copy of the ring, gets to Legend Rule the more painful version of the cards, and kind of start back at 0.
All right. So he's safe there. Protection from everything. Can't die to damage, combat damage, or his own ring. Lots of blockers on Dom's side of the board. We got 2 Primeval Titans and Arboreal Grazer. This EE hanging out in case some Rhinos ever come to party.
Yeah, D Fiend just can't break through. It has Flash, obviously, but it does not have Flying, and Dom has 2 6s in play. I mean, anything short of like a Supreme Verdict, I don't feel like Tepper's really going to survive this next turn cycle.
Yeah, let me see his deck here as well. Take a peek at it. Does he have Supreme Verdict?
Probably not in this Rhinos version, but it's possible.
Yeah. No, nothing here.
Yeah. Yeah, even just hypothetically, a Supreme Verdict would do some work, but goes for
Wear Tear, probably at the...
Yeah, goes for a tear. Wear and tear on an Amulet and a Saga, which would have more than likely got a second copy of Saga.
Second copy of Amulet.
Thank you. Yeah, third copy of Amulet thanks to the Mike Synth Gardens. And Tepper's basically tapped out. Dom has resolved Primetimes with Tepper still alive, but the problem is that Primetime gets to do a lot more work after it gets that attack in.
Yeah, even though he doesn't do damage, grabbing these lands off the Primeval Titan attack is still really key. I have a question, though. The copy is technically CMC 0, right? So that would die. I'm just like,
No.
I feel like I'm tunnel visioned on this EE a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, the EE, I think, is mostly not relevant right now, for the most part. But actually, the copy does retain the mana cost of the Primetime.
I think Brian went to discard there, discarded 2 Crashing Footfalls and a land.
Yep.
Showing that those aren't very relevant if you want to suspend them. I don't think we're going to see those come off.
Looks like Dom is down to 6 after that ring trigger.
Yeah, gotta flash the tattoo every time you play the ring. That's the rule.
That is the rule.
Oh, excuse me. Life totals here.
Yep, I'm down to 6. Got an untap. I think there's a Teleria West in his hand, if I'm not mistaken.
That's the transmute one, right?
Right. So the reason that they play that card is because they get to transmute for a copy of Summoner's Pact. Teleria West, as we pull it up here on the screen, you get to transmute, which is an ability that lets you search your library for a card with CMC typically equal to whatever that card's CMC is. So you have like Muddle the Mixture that costs 3, I believe. You get to transmute for another 3 drop, right? Teleria West is obviously a land. It has a CMC of 0, so you get to transmute for something like Summoner's Pact, which is obviously going to let him find a Dryad, attack, Valakut, trigger, kill you. We go with Spelunking.
Yeah, new card out of the newest set, Lost Caverns of Ixalan.
Yeah, don't ask me how this works with Amulet.
Yeah, there was a flow chart rather,
Yep.
that Wasmo put out right after this card dropped, which was very helpful. And I know Dom Harvey has spoken at length on the card as well.
Yep. Yeah, Dom starts out with Spelunking because it's going to allow him to make, he spends 3 mana on the Spelunking, but it's going to allow him to make even more mana than the 3 that he invested. And have to imagine this turn just goes the way I said with the Transmute for Summoner's Pact. Get the Dryad, swing, and now all my lands are mountains. But Tepper does have 1 mana for the Leyline Binding, as we said.
Mm-hmm.
So this game potentially closer than we think.
Yeah, coming down to the wire here, a lot of micro decisions to be made, for sure.
Someone in chat, find the line. I know there's some amulet genius out there.
Yeah, where you at?
They're just sitting there like the Zach Galifianakis meme, like fingers and numbers floating around their head.
Yeah. I feel like we reference that meme a lot.
Do we? Oh no.
No, it's okay. It's
Now I'm
good. It's a
basic.
very relevant meme for Magic players, I think. It's
Yeah.
that one or the lady that looks really confused
The
with the numbers.
geometry and the cylinder and the cone. Cultivator Colossus.
Woo!
This card is when I first saw it coming out here out of Crimson Vow, a mythic rare, mind you. I was like, oh, this is like some insane commander card, and they're like, wait, Amulet just makes as much mana as they want.
Dom flash in the hand once again.
I believe I saw Summoner's Pact in all those lands, so he's potentially just playing with his food. Cultivator Colossus' power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. When it ETBs, you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you do, draw a card and repeat this process. So, Dom.
So we're just gonna dump our hand now?
Yep. Dom flashes like 10 lands in his hand, and now he's just gonna keep going.
All right. Here we go. Are we drawn towards something, or are we just?
Flash the Colossus one more time. Do the cards?
Yeah. I got you.
I assume the cards ETB tapped. Right, they do. So this is even just better for Dom because gets to make a ton of mana. Like there's just if you're playing Moto, right? Like all these amulet triggers are like appearing on the screen.
You put it on the battlefield tap, but doesn't Spelunking say that they would come in untapped?
You have your guess is as good as mine, dude.
Judge? There's a Vesuva copying.
Like I said, the flowchart's like if this, then this, but if this, then this, and
yeah.
It's kind of all over the place.
I need to phone a friend. Help.
I have a pretty good inclination that Tom's gonna make a bunch of mana and do a bunch of things. We just need to find it.
Indeed. Time potentially starting to be a bit of an issue here as well. We're about to call time and round for our regular players. I believe in coverage time they'll have a few more minutes after that. So getting close here. Dom's up a game, so he's, I guess, advantage take long. I don't think he's stalling by any means here, just trying to play it out.
Yeah, not at all. Especially like once you're in turns, like, you know, you can kind of like relax and like, you know, once you're in turns, you take the time it takes. You know, you have 5 full turns. You have 3 opportunities per player to finish the match, and it'd be very impressive if Dom's not able to finish this match.
I agree. I think he can do it here.
Man just put like 20 mana into play.
I'm sorry, I just realized Brian's face is like has been so cut off this whole time, so I just needed to fix that real quick.
Yeah,
there he is.
I was gonna say something, but I didn't know if you needed Bryce to. Yeah.
No, I know how to do it. Yeah.
Respectfully.
Usually, I don't have to handle the production here, so I appreciate y'all's patience at home. I'm sorry, Brian, we cut off your face for part of your match. We got the tattoo fully on screen.
Good,
there.
thank God.
Yeah.
What is? Oh, his basics say floating. I was like, what does that say?
Oh, there you go.
Right. They say floating to be like, these aren't in play. Don't worry. I'm just making mana over here.
Doing all sorts of stuff. Brian still has protection from everything. Is that correct? So we're still.
You're right. Dude,
we don't have anything like Yawgmoth does, where they like the Blood Artist targets
like
or
loss
doesn't.
Of life.
Yeah, loss of life
like
versus damage, or
each
like
opponent.
doesn't target. Yeah, each.
Right.
That kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know what its outs are here, if Dom can actually kill this turn, or if he's making it so safe that he can't possibly die next turn.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, Tepper's tapped out, no flash threats. He's not gonna get through the prime time, unless, yeah, because Dom has 5 creatures currently in play, maybe more by the end of this turn. Tepper would need 5, now 6 different removal spells to even get through with those creatures. Tepper at this point is just, you know, watching the show.
Yeah, valid cut targets, so we can't kill that way.
Yep.
Obviously, we can't kill with combat damage. We have protection from everything.
Gets to at least clear the board here, though.
Bryce, you play Amulet Titan. How does he win with the ring trigger on this deck? I guess he doesn't. We're going to Brian's turn here. Okay. He did so many things trying to figure out all this stuff
he's
here.
still doing
He's
things.
still doing things. Brian just decided to tap his ring just so he doesn't forget. I don't know, just so we see
so, yeah.
exactly. We have all as many tools at our disposal as possible.
Yeah. So all this mana floating. Defense grid just to make sure the shields are fully down.
All right, sick. I dig it.
Whenever a player casts a spell on their opponent's turn, it costs 3 more mana. Basically, a permanent mana leak for your opponents. And another Amulet of Vigor, and Dom is gonna win somehow. Eventually. Goes to the cleanup step. Dares Brian to kill him on the next turn, and then Dom, if he can't win on his following turn, I don't know what to say.
Dom going for busiest board state on coverage ever, I think.
Oh no. Okay, so this just reminded me, since there's nothing really to talk about in this match anymore. As Tepper taps the ring, 2 bird encounters, gonna die on his next upkeep if he has no way to remove this ring.
He's got a Solitude. Where'd the Deep Fiend go?
So all the Valakut triggers cleared his board.
Oh, because you can still target the creatures.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Tepper has protection of everything, but Dom can do anything to Tepper's board.
Dom can play a land and kill real fast.
Yeah.
Lots of cards in here. Sorry, what were you gonna say? Is this game
because
near its end?
Because there's basically nothing else to say about this deck. Wait, I want to acknowledge Paulo here.
No,
real quick.
it's a.
Is it a?
I think it's a copy pasta.
Oh, you're right. It totally is.
Yeah.
Kind of, maybe.
It's a good one.
Anyway.
It's a tricky one.
Anyway, I won't acknowledge Paulo, but also I do acknowledge Paulo.
Hello, thank you, chatter.
Yeah, thank you, welcome. Thanks for the follow. You're awesome. Come back next week. Beseju on a Leyline Binding. Dominic just kind of playing with his food.
I don't know.
I assume.
I don't think, having a second Dryad really enables us any more than the first.
Well, it lets you Valakut through a single removal spell.
It gives you an extra land drop, right?
It also gives you a second land drop, but
there you go.
But
all lands are all types twice over.
Yeah, the second Dryad means that if Dom goes for a Valakut kill, Brian can't remove the Dryad in response.
He's insulated that way. That makes sense. Going to discard here for Brian. Do you put the cards you're going to keep down? Or do you put the cards you're going to discard down?
It's usually easier to, well, depending on your hand size, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your hand is huge, it's usually easier just to keep the cards you want to keep, but...
Discarding lots of Cascade and Cascade targets there on Brian's side. Go to Dom's turn.
Dom takes 3. They're on turn 2
turn
of turns, yeah.
Chip in a chair here.
Come on.
We'll play a land. Trigger.
I like how you fixed Brian's camera, but not Dom's camera. It's great.
Well, Dom was in. He was here earlier.
He was barely in.
He leaned in. He leaned out.
He be leaning.
He be leaning. Where'd he go?
Evoke Solitude.
Where you at?
Evoke Solitude, pitching Solitude, targeting the Solitude? No. Wait. Okay, targets. Okay, finally. Oh, no disrespect to these players, obviously. Finally is only because my patience is terrible. But that was a good game. Dom had a lot of game actions, and Tepper got to watch front row seat, as it were.
Yeah, Dom will take it down in 2 games there to Brian's 1. That'll wrap up our round 1 coverage. We'll be back with round 2 in just a second. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our Modern coverage for Wednesday night Modern League. We're in round 2. We got 2 fantastic regulars in our feature match area for tonight. We got Adam Weiss of Team Flexlot, top of the leaderboard, versus Alexander Luke, also top of the leaderboard, rocking Retro Storm versus Adam's Burn.
You know what's unfortunate about players being good players?
What?
They're on camera every damn week.
They're on camera a lot.
That's a good thing, though. I like seeing good players play Magic.
Absolutely.
Alexander Luke on Retro Storm, as he named it, because he intentionally is just trying to get as many cards as possible in the deck in the new retro frame.
I was gonna say if I see any modern borders, I'm yelling at him.
I mean, there's some things you just can't do unless you want to make a fake card like Wish from AFR.
Yeah, is there no retro border of that one?
Unfortunately, no. Alex, I know Alex did get a nice few booster boxes of the new Ravnica Remastered, allowing him to play this retro Steam Vents.
There you go. Heck yeah, it looks beautiful.
Is that a Gigantha in the companion zone there?
I can't quite see. I have his deck list.
I'm pretty sure it is. I just wasn't positive that it was a Gigantha.
Sideboard is a Gigantha, yes.
For sure.
Good eyes.
Something you'll rarely end up casting, but when you do, you're glad that you had access to it with the preordain here.
Yeah, that top of the flash card will be one of the enablers, the sort of engine of the deck, and Baral, Chief of Compliance. He'll make all his instants and sorceries cheaper to cast. Rift Bolt gets suspended on Adam's side of the board. Pass it back to Alex.
Adam has suspended many Rift Bolts in his life.
He has. What do you think? What do you think? When you go to heaven, do you get to see like your overall like universal magic stats?
I have wanted this since I was 5 years old. Like, man, when I die, I hope I get to see my stats.
Did I hope?
Like how many
Good and bad.
How many gallons of ketchup?
That's not where I expected you to go, but okay.
How many stairs? How many blinks?
How many stairs?
How many mouse clicks?
How many stairs?
Like walking, not like glaring at someone.
Oh, I see.
Eidolon of the Great Revel, kind of one of the scariest cards for Alex Luke here, as he casts a Consider and takes 2 damage.
Ooh, pitch a Consider. Find a land. It's a fetch land. It's really I feel like this is just an absolute abysmal matchup for Alex. And Eidolon is just devastating to a Storm deck when they want to cast Grape Shot.
Yeah, there are certain matches in the modern format that people would refer to as race cars, right? Like for the most part, the decks are just ignoring each other, trying to execute their own game plan, and win as fast as possible before the opponent wins. Obviously, right? There's obviously going to be some minor interactions, especially out of the sideboard, but
yeah, we'll see if Alex has any tools to combat a scary burn deck. Oh, a second Eidolon. Okay.
It's got to be nothing to do here.
Okay. Do we have what's in the sideboard for wish? What can we wish for?
It's been a long time since Storm has been like a mainstay in Modern. I mean, it's been a mainstay as it were for 10 years, but it's been probably 5 years at least since it's been like, considered in the top few tiers of the format as
Adam keeps chugging along here. I always say it as a meme, but Alex actually has it in his sideboard. Whenever I see 2 or more of a card, I'm like, oh, Echoing Truth, but he has it. So we could bounce both Eidolons here. Bouncing them doesn't do too much good. But
it could open a window, right?
It could open a window. I think the window's pretty small though.
Well, yeah, in situations like this where if Alex has the win in hand, end of turn, Echoing Truth, bounce your Eidolons. Now I get to untap and win, right? That being said, Adam Weiss with the burn does Goldfish a lot faster and has those punishing cards in the form of Eidolon of the Great Revel.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at his deck list here. You've seen it before. Let's see it again. We got Strict Proctors, Path to Exile, Wear Tears, Engineered Explosives, and Roiling Vortex. Adam loves his sideboards in 3s. Makes my job very easy.
Burn, one of the most consistent deck lists for 12 years now. I mean, maybe every few years a new card will come up and we'll consider it to be
no, Consider's in the other deck.
Right. We'll I can't think of a synonym for consider, but we'll wonder if it is a decent enough upgrade.
No, that's another
deck.
blue card.
I hate everything. Wonder is the blue anger.
Yeah.
As I am starting
feel
to
anger.
Yeah. No, you've been seeing Burn in Modern for almost 15 years now. Goblin Guide, Rift Bolt, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, Searing Blaze. Those cards have never left this deck list. We've had some upgrades, obviously, over the years in the form of Monastery Swift Spear, but nothing really changes.
Skewer the Critic has been a good include, as well as those Horizon lands to get you out of a land-heavy draw.
Yeah, and then the fun one that Adam Weiss kind of stands by in the form of Play with Fire.
Yes, he loves his Play with Fire. It only does 2 damage versus 3 damage, but that scry can be invaluable.
Yeah, Burn, known as a deck that's just trying to count to 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Actually, Adam has a great article on flexlot.gg about the
Yeah.
decision to play with fire, right?
Check it out.
If you're counting to 20 and 6 lightning bolts makes 18, well, you only need 2 more damage anyway. And being uh, a deck that just really cares about having all 7 of those spells to make 20 damage, the Scry can be a huge important thing here. Rolling Vortex, Engineer Explosives, Wear Tear, Path to Exile, and Strict Proctor. 5 3-ofs here on the sideboard. It's kind of hard to say if anything matters here. If Adam wants to pivot and use Path to Exile to get rid of a Baral, he could, but you can do that with a burn spell if you really need to.
Absolutely. We're going to take a look at Alex's deck list here. It only grabbed part of it, so I'm going to try and fix that here.
Oh,
Just
no.
a minute.
We're going to fix it, but y'all know what Storm looks like. Hasn't really changed. We got the card Wish a few years ago from Adventures in Forgotten Realms, and it does a lot of work in giving you flexibility out of the sideboard. But basically the same old. Passing Flames, Grape Shot. So far in our currently upgraded deck list.
Still
graphic.
struggling there. That is so interesting.
Let me just check. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I think it's just missing stuff from the copy. That's so weird. Okay. Well, there's part of his deck.
Well, either way, I don't know if Storm has good, if you will, sideboard cards here. Fiery Inscription, though, we see in his main deck. The ring tempts you, and when you cast an instant sorcery, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. So that's a nice way to get around protection from the ring, and also just be a way to finish off damage when you don't have like a full storm count, right? Kind of acting like a Tendrils of Agony.
Yeah, Storm is definitely your bread and butter kind of deck. I would say. Let's get back down to the action here, though.
Opening hands are ready. Obviously, Alex Luke will be on the play as he kind of got smooshed in 3 or 4 turns. Game 1.
He got burned very quickly to death.
Oh, burn. And I think he does have. I think he does have that card we talked about at the front of his hand. The enchantment. You will? Oh, hi, Will. Will Krieger. Now I'm nervous. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
X-Whale
Dakota's blushing.
No, I'm not. Actually, I definitely am. It was good to see you at Champs recently, Will. Hope we see you again on the series this year, obviously.
Yeah, dude. Welcome into chat. We're playing some classic modern here, of course, right? Burn, classic, Storm.
Yeah. I think we just hopped in the time machine to 2017.
Alex has a good way of doing that. He plays some great callback decks. Him and Kai.
Yeah.
He's been crushing with the 2-rack deck recently. Decided to break out Storm for this one, though.
Can I say that I despise that name?
The 2-rack?
Can we just call it something else?
What else would you call it?
Anything else?
Black discard? Mono black discard?
Yep. Because he's not playing 8 racks, so it's not cute anymore.
He's playing 2-rack. You could call it 6-rack because of Urza's Saga. Does that work?
Yeah. I have 2 copies of Snapcaster in my mage. Let's call it 2 Snap. Anyway.
Alex will be on the play for game 2 here.
Adam Weiss, Mulligan's down to 6, which, as we said, Burn being a critical mass deck really isn't too happy about a Mulligan, but
it's one less spell in your hand.
Yeah, I've been as far as Storm goes, we haven't seen updated iterations in quite a while, but as far as I know, I don't think Storm can really win before turn 4, unless there's some kind of insane draw that I'm not aware of for turn 3. And even turn 4 kind of feels ambitious, but I couldn't tell you, to be quite honest.
Yeah, do you know the exact cards he needs to combo off?
I mean, he just casts a lot of spells and draws a lot of cards and makes a lot of mana,
Here, we're starting here with an enchantment, which is... What is this enchantment?
That's the Fiery Inscription that we mentioned.
Fiery Inscription. Let's get that up on the screen for people.
Yeah, sits in play and lets him kind of just treat it as a Tendrils of Agony on the front. Basically, a front-loaded Tendrils. Doesn't need to actually storm off. Just gets to deal 2 damage for every single casting of a spell.
The ring tempts you.
Yeah, that mechanic that literally never matters ever.
Not in constructed. In limited, it can be pretty fun.
Right. I'll let you know about the next NRG series, Lord of the Rings limited event. Will does let us know, by the way, because Will knows everything about Magic the Gathering. Storm can win on turn 3. They just need one of their mana reducers to live in the form of Electromancer or Baral, obviously.
Adam will get his important 2-drop creature out in Eidolon, though, which will slow down Alex or not and hurt him a lot. We'll see how he responds here.
Yep.
He's got a lightning bolt, so we could just remove it off the board. And then we do have some mana. I see an Electromancer on the left side of his hand as well. That'll probably die pretty quickly to Adam's removal spells.
Yeah, it almost feels like something like Electromancer is one of those things that you don't like expose to a burn spell. Obviously, in this matchup, like burn, you don't really want to expose it until you're gonna like go off that turn, essentially. Alex not casting the lightning bolt on the Eidolon in the main phase, obviously, because he's gonna allow Adam to cast spells into it and deal damage to himself, which he does. Cast the Goblin Guide, takes 2 damage, and then Alex gets to bolt it away.
Doesn't take the combat damage from the Eidolon, but will take damage from casting the bolt itself. So basically the same there, but now he doesn't have to deal with the Eidolon.
14 to 15, drew in another bolt that we saw off a Goblin Guide. And
here will come the Electromancer.
Okay, he's going to try to start getting some value here.
Yeah. Adam's going to respond, though. We'll fetch Shock. I saw Boros Charm in hand. I also see a Searing Blaze as well. Go down to 11 on Adam's side of the field.
Yeah, no shock, but he did take 2 damage from the Manamorphose casting, thanks to Fiery Inscription. Basically, Alex going to try and get some value with some cheap spells, but Adam wants to get rid of the Electromancer before he has another chance to go off. Ooh, and the best possible way to get rid of a Goblin Electromancer in the form of Searing Blaze.
With the fetch, they'll trigger the landfall.
Yep.
Clear up everything there and send some damage up to Alex's face as well. But we'll have some floating mana here off the Manamorphose still. Draw as well, naming 2 colors.
Yeah, red and blue almost exclusively.
Makes a lot of sense. Staring at a couple of cards now. I see a Wish. I see a Lightning Bolt. Did you catch the left hand?
Got a Spire Bluff Canal off of the Manamorphose, so nothing too exciting.
Coming tapped, unfortunately.
Yeah, this might be a double land drop. Did he play 2 lands this turn? No. Yeah, it was turn 2 Ritual into Inscription. Turn 3 play a land pass. Okay. We're good. Gonna main phase the bolt this time though.
Well, yeah, we want to use this mana that we have available off the Manamorphose.
Absolutely.
That land, the Spire Buff came in tap, so we weren't able to Wish.
Yeah, I think Wish. Yeah, exactly. Wish costing 3, but he had the 2 mana floating, so.
Still gonna take a look at his sideboard here and potentially plan out what he's going to grab.
Cool, calm, and collected. Fiery Inscription just dealing all the damage he needs.
Exactly. We'll flash a spell off the top there on the Goblin Guide attack.
No.
Adam sitting all right here. The Inscription does 2 on every of his casts?
It does, so it's going to be nigh impossible. Well, no. He could.
There is some combat damage happening here, so that changes the math. That's 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so he just scoops, but it felt like, I mean, because he didn't know that Alex had Wish in hand, right? Or did he?
Well, I mean, Alex went to go look in his sideboard.
Oh, okay.
So, I feel like that might tip you off a little bit.
Alex may have just mentioned it. He's like, I'm going to Wish, by the way. And because we had Ritual into Wish into basically any castable spell. The Fiery Inscription deals enough damage to finish off Adam. Adam had a lot of damage in hand.
He did.
But
he almost nearly had him dead there.
Yep, one damage spell away.
I think he needed a couple more life as well to survive, because I think he needed three casts, 3 spells there, because the Boros Charm was 4, and he had 10 life. Let's take a look at Alex's full deck list, though. I did manage to figure out how to get this full deck list on screen.
We got it.
So here you go in all its beauty. That sideboard is Echoing Truth, Grape Shot, Hercule's Recall, Galvanic Relay, Empty the Warrens, Gifts Ungiven, Past in Flames, Defense Grid, and Blood Moon.
Yeah, speaking of Burn being a deck that hasn't barely changed in 10 years, Storm's kind of the same.
Looking pretty similar to me as well. The most recent include would be, of course, the Fiery Inscription and even the Wish.
Yep. Yeah, Inscription seems like kind of busted, to be honest. I hadn't seen
I'm digging it.
Hadn't seen this card before today. I mean, it is quote unquote a do nothing enchantment on turn 3, but at the same time it's not, you know what I mean? Galvanic Relay, also a really cool card from Modern Horizons 2. Modern Horizons 1 had like a lot of, you know, reprints that introduced new cards to Modern. It also had some brand new cards that are pretty powerful, like Ren and 6, obviously. But Galvanic Relay, there's a card for Modern Horizons 2 where they're like, we're gonna try to like put some cards into it that kind of like will juice up.
Old archetypes.
Correct. Yeah, like there were 3 different Merfolks to make Merfolk like maybe get some help.
Yes, Pheloon was a great include.
Absolutely. Galvanic Relay.
Rishidum Dockhand.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm stuck on the Merfolk. You got me going there.
No, you're fine. What is not now? I want to know what's the third Merfolk there. Svaloon, Dockhand, something cool. Tide Shaper.
Tide Shaper. Yep.
Yeah. Galvanic Relay though, card that they wanted to help with the Storm archetype, right? Which is weird because some of the rituals are banned. But anyway, they wanted to help Storm in the form of this. Would call it Yawgmoth's Will of Modern. You get to basically
Past No Flames.
Well, sorry, I misspoke. I meant ad nauseum, right?
Oh.
A way to just give yourself access to a bunch of cards on the end step, which I believe is how it usually plays out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what it's probably just like a wish target when you need that.
You see, as we get into game 3 here, Adam began with a Goblin Guide, smacking Alex. And Alex will begin with a Preordained, sort of prepping his hand for his future turns. Brawl, Metamorphose, Wish, lots of good stuff to get going there. Adam, I'm sure, has burn spells in his hand.
Doing the burn thing, Preordain for stuff, has 1 mana reducer in hand and a couple Metamorphose, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Adam really shuffling that deck.
Gotta make sure. Do your due diligence.
Sufficiently randomized.
Got Play with Fire. We'll attack in first with the Goblin Guide. Triggered there will reveal a Goblin Electromancer. Good redundancy.
As a dirtily control player, I hate playing against Goblin Guide, but I love when it draws me a land.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's like, oh my god, yeah. Card advantage. That's all that matters, right? No, you're dead. But it feels good. Eidolon, obviously, the biggest problem for Alex Luke here, and he's going to play his own Goblin here and just hope that Adam somehow doesn't have a burn spell.
Yeah, I feel like that's what you have to do here. You can't give Adam any more time, so you just got to build slowly and hope that you have it. He also has a Sprawl, like I said, for some redundancy. So we do have the ability to start producing stuff next turn. Brawl's 2, and the Metamorphose would be 1, so we can start being mana positive there.
Yeah. Adam on what we call the creature draw of burn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fewer burn spells, but you just get to attack, which, when the creatures survive, they deal a lot more damage per mana than the burn spells, but...
Oh, boy. We're about to crash in for a ton of damage here.
Yeah, going to be putting Alex to 6 here. No land.
Metamorphose off the top on the Goblin Guide attacks, bringing Alex down to 6. Couple burn spells away from death here. We'll see what he's able to do with his turn. Adam is tapped out, so he's free from interaction at least.
Spoiler alert, he's dead.
Yeah, Will said he needs a creature to survive, which it didn't. And this Eidolon is definitely, I think, putting a quick, very steady obstacle in his path as well. Storm count is 2.
Fast and Flames, scoop him up. Well fought. We love you, but it's
kill
over.
Ourselves with Eidolon.
Same.
Cast a Metamorphose, and that's the match.
Players love to say going out on their own terms, and Alex has done it.
Absolutely.
Well, obviously, the backup is still playing because that one went really fast.
That one went fast. Adam will take it down in 3 there as we transition into our backup match here. It will be Devin. I didn't do it. Hold on. I gotta swap these players. There we go. Devin versus Sam. Hammer Time versus Yawgmoth. We got life totals at 17 all. I'm going to go check what game they're on.
I was going to say, Devin's mustache was looking really good before you fixed that. So Yawgmoth, the borderless version, obviously, from Diamond Arrow remastered here. And a Haywire Might for Devin. Gets to crack that. Careful, you're making a lot of noise with that.
Ooh,
anyway,
I'm so sorry. We're on game 3 here.
Cool. So we're in game 3. Both players took a game there somehow. And Sam has the most important card in the whole matchup in play, Curse Totem.
Yeah, that is in every single sideboard nowadays. Now that Yogg is such a dominant deck in the meta, we see Yawgmoth decks do a ton of work in this store for sure.
Yeah. Curse Totem gone from a bulk rare to like $3 nowadays, which is insane.
Oh, and there's the win con for Yawgmoth. Blood Artist will hit the field.
Yogg attacked for 2, Sam down to 15, Devin down to 14 already.
Gonna start doing stuff here. Here comes Agatha's Soul Cauldron as well. Devin flying through these spells here.
Soul Cauldron blew up this deck in a huge way and made the deck way more popular, right? So then everyone started packing these Curse Totems, right? But then in the same vein, the Cauldron doesn't even care.
Fulminator Mage will be the card under the soup there, into the soup.
Mm-hmm.
Delighted Halfling will have its ability there. Sam down to 10 in game 3. Sam rocking Hammer, of course.
Sam, I wonder if Sam just kept like Curse Totem and like no action.
Curse Totem plus cards.
It's what it looks like.
I don't know. Yeah, his graveyard is completely empty, so it's not like Devin's been removing anything as well. Just going for creature beats here, which a Yawgmoth player is more than happy to do.
Golgari aggro.
Gonna continue to throw stuff in the soup here. The target will be a Delighted Halfling, pumping up his other Delighted Halfling on board. We have an Inkmoth Nexus. Nothing else. We have a Springleaf Drum. I'm looking for some creatures here. He will animate the Nexus. Oh, is there a hammer?
Oh, Devin's shaking. I mean,
boy.
Not literally.
Do we have action? We have tons of mana open, spells in hand. We're in game 3, so we have sideboard cards.
Because there's a Steel Shaper's Gift.
Oh, a Force of Vigor.
It's just a preemptive Force of Vigor. Doesn't want to risk something crazy happening here. Surge of Salvation. Oh, he flashed it so quickly.
What was it?
It had to be another copy, or no? It was Beseiju. Had to be Beseiju. Oh, Fatal Push. Excuse me. So
all right, on the stack here: Force of Vigor, Surge of Salvation, and Fatal Push.
I mean,
okay.
Devin goes for the Force of Vigor because he might as well. I guess that was his line of thinking. Like, might as well Force of Vigor and not take the 1 poison. It's not too scary to take 1 poison unless there's a hammer looming, but...
Sigarda's Aid is in play, so I would be very afraid of a hammer here.
No, absolutely. It's if he has a hammer, right? Devin could have responded to a hammer, but decides to get rid of it anyway.
Yeah, Fatal Push is targeting the Inkmoth Nexus.
Oh, but yeah, like I was going to say...
Double Yogg in hand as well for Devin.
There's a Steel Shaper's Gift in the graveyard, so it might just mean he
okay,
like,
so
has
there
the hammer.
Is some graveyard. Okay.
Yeah, Steel Shaper's Gift in the graveyard means he probably has hammer, but we got here after that fact.
No way to get out of this, really. I think you just I think Sam is just dead. I think he's tanking on how to live.
I mean, I can't think of a way. I don't know. He has 2 cards in hand. I mean, maybe I just have an aversion to like players tanking when there's no decision to be made, but I could be oversimplifying it.
He does have 2 cards in hand. All right. So here's a Stoneforge Mystic. That's a blocker. Surge is resolved. Springleaf Drum means mana available. The grab will be
Shadow Spear.
Shadow Spear.
Morgul Knife.
We can block, tap with the Springleaf Drum, equip the Shadow Spear there, and gain some life, attacking in with 3 damage, 5 damage.
Attack with a 0/1 because
6 damage.
If he blocks it, it still deals damage. Yeah, summoning sick, bro.
It's not summoning. I mean, it is summoning sick, but you can still tap it with the Springleaf Drum. So we're not activating the Stoneforge ability.
Yep.
We're just casting it at instant speed with a Sigarda's Aid.
I don't know if Devin's scared, though. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't think it matters too much here. This is just a way for Sam to survive.
Right.
Congratulations on your little reunion in chat. Everyone's here, the gang.
I'm so confused, but I'm here for it. 1.
Tapping out damage here.
3. Woot woot. There you go. Okay, so Stoneforge is going to be a
Woo!
2/3 thanks to the Morgul Knife, aka Shadow Spear. So activating Soul Cauldron, we have a 1/1, a 3/5, and an 0/1. Stoneforge dies. Sam gains 2 life, but he still takes close to enough damage to die. Anyway, it's enough to get Sam to scoop it up.
Devin will take down our last match of round 2 in 3 against Sam. He will advance to 2-0, and that'll wrap up our round 2 coverage. Before we go, let me remind you of what we offer at the store. Oh boy, this is different than what I usually look at. Hold on. Here we go. Transition
Easy peasy.
into the weekly ad. There you go. Dakota, tell them what they can play.
So we have 5 different games at the store nowadays. Don't mind this accidental Tuesday saying we play Pioneer. Pioneer hasn't fired for a little while, but we play a lot of Lorcana at the store. So every Tuesday, Lorcana and One Piece. You can also play One Piece on Fridays and then Digimon on Mondays and Saturdays. So that's 2 opportunities per week to play One Piece and Digimon. Magic with a lot of formats. We got multiple opportunities to play Magic. Wednesday here, Modern, obviously, streaming the league every Wednesday at 6:30. Legacy and Standard F&M nowadays. Standard is making a resurgence. Multiple Commander players building their decks right now to start making that transition to a 60-card format. Speaking of Standard, we have an RCQ coming up March 2nd. You can win one of these awesome, cool promos, a bunch of booster boxes as well, and get that invite to RC Dallas.
So if you're looking to hit that competitive track, qualify for the regional championship, head on over to Nerd Rage Gaming on March 2nd for our standard RCQ. With that being said, though, we're going to head into a quick break before we bring you back for round 3 coverage. Stay tuned.
What's up, folks of Twitch chat? We're back. Thank you so much for staying tuned with that extended break. We had a couple matches finish up rather quickly, and we had a small break for round 3, but we're here. Ray Bosk playing a Grixis pile, obviously, because he always plays some kind of pile.
It's not a pile. It's pretty well assembled, I would say.
Yeah,
it does have some synergy.
Yeah, it's not quite the Jenga tower as always. No, we love Ray.
You could call it Grixis Wizards. I sort of hesitated looking at the deck list. There's some honorary wizards in the deck, like Sholdred or Orcish Bowmasters.
Is there a Flame of Anor?
There is.
So
that's why.
Then it's Wizards. No.
Then it's Wizards. All right. We got Marty back as well, now 2-0 after defeating his round 2 opponents. And we'll get started off Marty cycling Elorian revealed.
Yeah, we saw Marty round 1 against the Murktide. Was able to take it down in 2, maybe 3. I think it was in 2 games actually.
Yeah, I can see here.
Still doing some winning, so we're on to round 3, and Marty at 2-0. We want to see how he keeps winning this event, as we had to give Ray the opportunity to bring his new pile.
Marty won in 3 in round 1.
Got it.
Rhinos. Here they come to trample.
Elorian Revealed was a very unassuming card when it was spoiled.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's a bread and butter card, right? Like, it doesn't do enough on its own, but it makes the rest of the deck buttery smooth, you know? Helps the rest of it come together.
Yeah, 1 mana, often easy enough to spare just to smooth out these draws and your mana so cleanly. And then there are certainly games where you just have 5 mana and you're like, all right, I'm going to fuel up again with 3 fresh cards there.
Absolutely. With a 3-color deck like Rhinos too, finding the island is really nice. You know, Marty started off with the Stomping Ground naturally without a fetch, and was able to find his blue mana as well in the breeding pool.
Yeah. I mean, my inclination when I saw this card, well, honestly, when it first was printed, on the spoiler, it didn't even hit my radar. I was like, okay, this is like a sorcery, Jason's Ingenuity that happens to cycle, cool. And then people started talking about it, and I was like, okay, so it's evolving wild. Sometimes pitches a force negation. Like, well, what am I missing here? But, I mean,
I don't think you're missing too much there.
Yeah, but that description doesn't sound that impressive. But then again, the huge part is just that it says island cycling and not like most of the land cyclers that say basic, right? So Marty gets a breeding pool, cycling another Elorian Revealed here as Ray passes with 2 mana up.
And the fact that it's colorless island cycling as well is really notable. And that you don't need to already have a blue source, so it can find you your first blue source.
Of course.
Which is very handy. Grabbing the thematic Lord of the Rings island there as well, off the Lord of the Rings fetch.
I was about to give Ray Ray some props for his foil Manamo, but I caught the little symbol in the corner, and it is not a cool Manamo. It's still a cool Manamo, but it's not OG foil.
It's not a quote unquote real Manamo.
Yeah, it's that Mystery Booster Retail Edition.
Indeed, indeed. The bane of our existence as LGS employees.
So Marty passes with 3 mana up. That can only mean one thing.
Yeah, Valen outburst it. Ray's end step here. Before that, though, Ray's got some action of his own. Start with a preordain here.
I'm eating my words here. Didn't actually have the Violent Outburst. Just has, some reactive spells here.
Flame of Anor will be the cast, and Marty will draw 2 instead.
A quick study, if you will.
Ah. A blue-red quick study.
Excuse me.
What?
Nothing. So Ray preordains.
Are you proud of that one?
No, not even. Anyway, shock land here for Marty down to 14 as we were. Still a bunch of reactive spells, but he does have that 4 mana for a hard cast on Subtlety, which is, always nice to actually get to keep the body around for some attacking.
Yeah, looking at Ray's deck list here, he does have Shouldered as a 4-drop. He's only got 1 black source so far, and I don't think I see a Shouldered in his hand. Might be a 1-ring as the play on his side. That doesn't get countered by a Subtlety.
It may sound silly because of how utterly broken Shieldred is as a card, but man, it's slightly, in my opinion, underwhelming in the modern format.
Really?
Moderns, we got these mid-range and these control decks, but something like a 4/5 for 4. Obviously, there's
Death Touch?
There's some extra text on the death. Excuse me. Obviously, it has some extra text on there, but like Modern's just like a turn and a half faster than Pioneer for that pivotal moment where you need to make like a game deciding decision. Excuse me.
I would say as the card pool gets smaller, Shoulder definitely gets stronger. It's very good in Pioneer.
Yeah.
It's even better in Standard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute house. But she's still playable in Modern.
No, yeah, don't disagree. But like if Ray tapped out there, I'd be like, okay, Marty will keep playing and.
It enables. I mean, we see some players make really good use of it with like rings. The 1 ring in particular, sort of offsetting the burden, life loss there with the shouldered life gain.
For sure.
I think is probably the best card it synergizes with. But also just like the Rakdos scam decks or the Orzhov scam deck that we have in the building as well. Do they even play shouldered actually? Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know. I'd have to look at some deck lists there.
I've seen like 1 or 2 in sideboards, maybe sometimes 1 or 2 in the main board, but yeah, typically it's not really been a thing as far as I know. Marty picked himself up 2 copies of Shardless Agent off of some cantrips in the last few turns. That Flame of Anor and the Ice, not to mention his draw step. Gonna go for the first one here. Obviously gonna find a Crashing Footfalls. Eventually, that is.
Is that a Murktide he slipped past? Wow, okay. Murktide main board, interesting for sure.
Yeah, last year, was it last year? Maybe it was beginning of last year. Oliver Tomiko kind of made some, at least he was known for, I'm not sure if they designed it, but kind of gave a new skeleton for the Rhinos deck, playing these Murktides and these main deck Mystical Disputes. Not sure if that's technically still a thing, but Murktide being in Rhinos is definitely something I've been happy to see.
Going back to our shoulder discussion there, Mikey said that Scam plays one in the main deck.
Sure.
Because they no longer have Fury on their top end of spells.
Yeah, it's just another good card to have access to. I think that was a fatal push if I didn't blink too quickly from Ray to take care of 1 Rhino.
Makes sense. Like we said, when Marty was on round 1, it's so hard though because, especially with Charlotte's Agent, that's a 3-for-1. So spot removal is not super great here. It helps stem the flow a little bit from 10 damage. We'll see a Molten collapse here, the new Dreadbore with some extra text on it.
Yeah, I think the big thing, the big difference here about Rhinos versus, Grixis Wizards compared to Rhinos against Murktide. Murktide doesn't have, like, any real massive card advantage. It has lots of card selection. Oh, that was... anyway, has a lot of card
Sorry,
selection.
I can bring the card back.
It was just super fast. Sorry.
There you go.
Give the players some time to look at what that card does. But Murktide doesn't have a whole ton of card advantage. So having to deal with a Rhino is a little bit more painful. Ray being a deck playing cards like the 1 Ring, obviously, can kind of expend those resources where Ray's goal is just kind of stay alive, draw extra cards, kind of grind you into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
As
Marty trying to get the game over a little bit faster though.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, just Ray, spent 2 cards on 2 Rhinos and still has a full grip. Not too
Mm-hmm.
worried about that.
Yeah, he's able to generate lots of good card advantage there. We see a 1 ring in hand, so that'll be able to stabilize him a little bit too, to perhaps get his own threats on board. See a Snapcaster as well to grab back some spot removal too.
Yeah, refusing to cast that 1 ring into a force negation, but giving Marty more time to just draw more cards here with the Flame of Anor.
Mm-hmm. Seems like a really strong include in Rhinos. Grab lots of tools out of that deck.
Yeah, we saw folks playing Prismari Command for a little while there
Mm-hmm.
in the early days, and then Flame of Anor just came out and did so much more things. There was lots of debate too, right? Because Prismari Command can have 2 modes out of its 4, kind of like Kolaghan's Command, things like that in the past. Flame of Anor only allowing you to get 2 options when you have a wizard, but those options are just stronger, right?
Yeah, the options are stronger because the clause is more niche, right? Like Prismari Command, you always get 2. And then Flame of Anor, you only sometimes get 2. And I don't think there's any wizards in a Rhinos deck, so you're only picking 1. But the pick is stronger, like you said. Here comes the second Charlotte's Agent, and a Crashing Footfalls will be counterspelled by Ray.
Yeah, Ray doing what he wants to do. Rhino's obviously a powerful deck, but like we said before, kind of limited on its number of threats. It just kind of it was described as a Delver deck early on, which is known for its strategy as Protect the Queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put your power into play that's cheap or, undercosted, and then just ride that with counterspells and removal.
As Marty does here, force negation to Ray's counterspell. Get those Rhinos down on the field in spite of the attempted counter by Ray.
And Ray just flashes in a Snapcaster Mage just to get on the board and pad the life total against these 2/2s.
Yeah, it is a blocker. We don't need it yet, though, because the 1 ring comes down and will give us protection from everything. Marty will respond, though. Pitch a Fire and Ice to force negation it. So no protection for Ray there.
Yep.
Now facing down lethal.
Yep. Basically dead. Anything short of, a Slaughter Pact.
Yeah, these Rhinos have trample. You can block 2 damage. And yep, there will be the scoop.
Bring back Slaughter Pact.
Bring back Slaughter Pact. Why?
It's just a sweet card.
You just dig it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Modern Horizons has given us a slew of options as far as 0-mana spells, but that was a fun one back in Grixis back in the day.
Speaking of Grixis, let's take a look at Ray's deck list here. Let's take a look at this sideboard and see what he could potentially bring in against this Rhinos deck. We have Flusterstorm, Spell Pierce, Stern Scalding, Thoughtseize, Brotherhood End, Engineered Explosives, Alpine Moon, and Pithy Needle.
A lot of good stuff. Stern Scolding, not that exciting. You might think it is, but countering a Charlotte's Agent doesn't actually work too well in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
Flusterstorm and Spell Pierce, obviously good here. I kind of wonder about Thoughtseize, to be honest. How do you feel?
I think there's... On the play, yeah, I would like a Thoughtseize here.
Sure.
Engineered Explosive, obviously a good include as well.
Right.
So about half of his sideboard here is pretty relevant against Marty's deck. Question is, what do you take out? I think these Bowmasters are pretty poor.
Depends on
that's an easy 4 of to make space with.
Pardon my interruption.
Go for it.
Yeah, it depends on how much Marty's going to be Flame of Anoring for 2 cards, but yeah.
The body is just like so unimpressive though against the Rhinos.
Yeah, there's not much other card draw in Marty's deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it's such a hard card to cut, right? It's just like so good. Like
for you,
how do I cut this card?
I don't know, man. I see that 1/1 body. I mean, it's technically two 1/1s, right? With the mass. But those Rhinos are 4/4s. They make 2 of them, so that seems like an easy cut in my mind. Fatal Bushes can stay in. Tashana's Tidebinders can stay because of stifling cascade triggers and that kind of stuff. Snaps are good. Sholdred is a good stabilizer and has a great body in face of the Rhinos.
Yeah, 4/5 versus 4/4 is somewhere that you want to be for sure.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think the Bowmasters are at least an easy exclude here.
4/5 does get cleaned up by a Flame of Anor 1-for-1, but
that's fair. Yeah, that other mode that we haven't seen Marty use yet does deal 5 damage.
Dizer removal isn't always the best argument, but
it's still something to take into account.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see here. Ray will be on the play for game 2. Hope y'all are enjoying our coverage so far. Excited to have Dakota back in the booth as well.
That makes one of us.
Well, we appreciate you all the same. And if you're enjoying our content, make sure to hit that follow button so that you can get notified every time we go live. We're here every Wednesday at 6:30 with modern coverage, and we're live every Thursday with Pokemon coverage. Tomorrow will be our challenge, so stay tuned for that. See our champions, our players fight for some championship points.
So, pardon my yawn. Marty busted a sleeve and went to go fix that sleeve here before we got our opening hands and flashed us a copy of Commandeer.
Ooh.
Obviously, in round 1, we pulled up kind of a stock deck list to talk about Marty's sideboard. He didn't actually submit this weekend or this evening because we don't require deck lists. We just kind of
appreciate it.
Yeah, we just appreciate it, for the stream quality. But Commandeer became huge tech against these ring decks, and Marty's bringing the heat.
Mm-hmm. Maybe influenced by George too, and George was rocking the full beans Commandeer suite as well.
Yeah, it's funny. Like this is the second time where the beanstalk tech is just lingering in the shadow.
Yeah, it keeps leaking back in.
Tepper's like, well, Deep Fiend was good with beans, but I'm just gonna keep playing Deep Fiend, and then Commandeer's a little bit different story. I mean, anything can win if you draw the right cards, right? But I mean, Commandeer costs a lot of resources.
7 mana, right? Or 2 cards pitched.
I guess if you if you get the job done against a ring, though, you kind of just draw those cards back. So
that's fair. That's a good point. Here's Commandeer for folks unaware of the card. Ray will play and dash in a Ragavan on his turn.
Yep, you've heard of Force of Will. Commandeer makes you exile 2 blue cards from your hand.
And say, gimme. That's your ring? Nah. That's my ring.
You don't lose 1 life, though, so I mean.
There you go.
It's basically a trade-off, right?
Yeah, a card or a life. There you go. Turn that buddy sideways. Hit a Tishana's Tiebinder off the top there. Ray will grab a treasure for his troubles. Take Marty down to 18 here.
So sometimes it can kind of feel like, I mean, as a spectator or even as a player, it can feel a little bit like anemic or like unexciting when you have to turn 1 suspend the footfalls. But I mean, it's still a fantastic clock.
Absolutely, yeah. And usually by turn 3, you're casting another Cascade spell. So then you get 2 turns of Rhinos.
Yeah,
and
really
suddenly you're facing lethal very, very quickly. Slow Ragavan will be the play, and a pass is all from Ray, holding up 2 blue mana inconspicuously here. Also got a Bolt, though, in hand, but no red mana to cast there. Oh, 3 mana, never mind. He'll use the treasure, Tishana's, to stifle the fetch.
Yeah, that is the best thing.
Wow.
That is
wow, get Stone Rain, man.
That is the fan favorite use of a Tidebinder.
Woo! Okay.
There's so many good targets for stifles nowadays that like you don't see it that often even because it's hard to hold up 3 mana, In Legacy, cards like Stifle.
Oh, man. Okay.
So pull up Tidebinder for us real quick.
Yeah, totally.
I assume it says up to 1, but I'm wondering if he like has to target a trigger on the stack or something like that. Just in case, we want to make sure.
It's not grabbing the card for me. Oh, Scryfall, have you broken? There we go.
Boom, counter up to 1. Okay, cool. So he's not forced to like stifle his own fetch line ability, but that would be devastating if it was the case.
So Marty will indeed get the card and raise Tiebinder for his troubles there. Pretty great trade, I'd say. What cards did he pitch? 2 Flame of the North?
I think it was 2 flames, yeah.
Yeah, I see 2 of those triangle hollow foils there.
Is that the case? Commandeer is not.
Oh, it is non-creature spell. Oh, yep. Let's go fix that. Thank you, folks. We just did have it up, so. Oh, boy. Here we go. All right. Thank you, folks. Oh. You sneak. All right. We're going to do some rewinds here. Maybe call a judge over. Just get this tricky situation figured out. Appreciate y'all at home paying more attention than us. Judge. That'd be a good emote, too. Could we get a judge emote? Just get, like, Devin or Kai's face on an emote.
Sure. Yeah.
There's Kai.
I love when someone makes an accidental illegal play on stream because that lets me actually know that people are actually watching. Because
Mhm.
chat just appears and like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, oh, you actually are there. Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, our chat can be pretty quiet, but when someone makes a misplay, they're quick on the draw there.
Well, while these players talk about how to solve this board state, why don't you in chat let us know if you're going to be playing the standard RCQ on March 2nd. Tell me what decks you're looking to play in standard, by the way. It's kind of a open format. Some call it solved, some call it wide open. There's a new set coming out in just a couple weeks. The Murders at Karlov Manor. Karlov Manor.
Call of Mana.
We're looking forward to seeing you there. I'm looking forward to standard. It's, in my opinion, a requisite for Magic to really thrive, and I'm really happy that we're going to be playing some more standard coming up soon, including at the NRG series in Elmhurst.
Yeah, we're going to be there February 17th and 18th, the very week before the Pro Tour. So if you want to play there, or if you are playing there and want to get some practice in beforehand, or if you haven't qualified for the Pro Tour and want a taste of some competitive Magic yourself, head on over to Elmhurst. That's where we'll be. We're in a new location. We've grown, and our location has grown with us. So we're really excited for that. We'll have exclusive play mats from artist Phil Stone there. We'll have Phil Stone there as well, I believe.
Yep, and Inkland Customs will have their own custom playmat as well. Only available from Nerd Rage Gaming. Kind of exclusive art from those two artists.
We'll also have the tokens from our previous competitors from last year. We're spoiling those on Twitter right now, so go check that out. We just saw the companion one get spoiled, and we also saw the blood token get spoiled as well, so go check those out.
Oh, I didn't see that we had posted the companion sick. That one's very
Yeah,
nice.
that one came out like just an hour ago while we were live.
That one looks really nice. Also, we did schedule this event very intentionally the week before Pro Tour Chicago, in hopes that we'll have, lots of kind of big name pro style players in town. And so I've already heard a few good number of folks that have a pretty nice Pro Tour pedigree going to be showing up to our event the week prior. So we hope y'all come out and play against some of the best in the world.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be there. I hope I'm not too starstruck when I meet them. So very excited to be there, of course, and starstruck by the local players as well. I'm always so happy when people actually like know who I am, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're the sales booth girl," or "Oh, you're Haviva, like I know you from the store." So I'm always excited to see everyone there. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all there as well. Let's see how this is getting resolved, though. Exactly how this rewind is going to happen here.
I feel like not too much time had passed, but maybe I'm wrong.
Marty was fully into his turn and attempting to resolve a violent outburst, which I feel like has resolved now, and we've just put
Wait, but
the
how did...
Tishanas on the side of the field, but he shouldn't have the mana.
Right, didn't he not get his land?
Uh-huh.
I just want to ask Kai how that got solved so I can
Yeah.
relay to the chat.
Yeah, Dakota's going to go check that out there. We'll get exact information on the ruling. You'll be at the St. Louis event in June. We're looking forward to having you there. Let me see if I can grab our full... Yeah, look at this. Those are all of our events for the first half of the year. We'll be in Chicagoland, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, and St. Louis. So if you can't make it for the February event, we have plenty more for you to try and make it out to. We'd love to see you there. We have a bunch of different formats to play. Legacy, you can no longer qualify for the RC4, but we love our Legacy community. We'd love to see you there. We're supporting you still. 5K in Minneapolis. We got a team trios in May. I believe they'll be Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Modern, and Pioneer, and all those good things as well. Transition back here and see where we're at. Still resolving this very tricky judge call going on here. You're trying to go to the indie events. There's also a Pokemon regional. Yeah. If you enjoy Pokemon, we'll be streaming our challenge tomorrow as well. So check it out. We've got tons of good people in the area, and Dan Hugar will be doing commentary for that. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a pretty good Magic player. Mikey will be in town for MagicCon Chicago. Nice. I'll be there too. I'm super excited. There's a bunch of good panels I'm looking forward to seeing. Lots of people in the area that I'm going to hang out with as well. My first MagicCon. I'm very excited about that. Dakota's giving me a weird look. This judge call is interesting. No? Never mind. Okay. We're back in the action here. Marty has 3 lands.
I'm not supposed to tell chat I'm giving you a weird, confused look, but anyway.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Judge kind of ruled that we're just going to play it as it lies. Ray's going to keep his Tidebinder, and Marty has his land. Going to see how this match shapes up after that little mishap.
Alrighty, so we've got everything resolved here. Now a bolt on the stack. going at Marty, or perhaps in some blocks. Do you know what turn we're on now?
Who knows, dude?
I know, trying to cover from that. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, so
Life totals are 15 to 17.
Tidebinder plus a Bolt takes care of a Rhino, and a little bit of Trample comes through as well. Ray has four mana, so he's probably going to be slamming. Nope, excuse me.
I know. I saw that shoulder sitting at the top of his hand as well. Thought that was going to get slammed. Marty's got 4 mana open, though.
Oh, right.
On his turn now.
I forgot we had a Footfalls ready to come off suspend. You got to hold Counterspell for that one.
Yeah, I think you got it there. Pretty good call.
Hard cast the Force of Negation. Quote unquote, time walks himself with the mana spent in the upkeep, but that's not really how this works. We have 8 power in play. Miscut Dragonite, no big deal.
Whoa, that is sick. Oh my gosh, that's the coolest Pokemon token I've seen in my life.
In my life.
I don't think I've ever seen a miscut Pokemon card before. That's awesome.
They be out there.
I'm sure they are, yeah. But, I see so many more Magic cards in a day.
Shieldred take 2.
Now we'll slam the Shieldred. Pretty good blocker there.
I don't fault Marty, by the way. Like, I have messed that up plenty of times. Like, oh, this is only non-creature, creature only, etc. Like,
Commandeer probably gets played so infrequently as well, and it almost always is going to be hitting. Oh, boy.
Ray offers the handshake. Had an awkward game, too, but that's quite all right.
Yeah, can't... even with the shoulder blocker there, just too much damage on board. Ray isn't going to be able to stabilize there, so Marty will take it down in 2. Let's check out how our backup match is going, though, as we transition over. We'll get the guy that brought us such a long break in round 2. George playing Josh. Josh playing Merfolk. Oh, I did not fix these.
George not playing Yawgmoth.
I did not fix... What did we land on? What George is playing? I'm gonna put Stoneblade for now because I saw
4-color Stoneblade.
4-color Stoneblade. Sure. I just put I put blue white because that's what I assumed. He was the single person I didn't ask what they were playing tonight because I feel like George is always doing that, and then he's not playing a single blue card.
Yeah. George, connoisseur of the Hallowed Fountain, praise to the Church of Hallowed Fountain, coming at you with Spar's headquarters and blood crypts and overgrown tombs and sacred foundries.
Yeah, Dakota made a joke that he just took his trade binder and kind of threw darts at it, and that's what he's playing tonight.
Well, you gotta add a few triumphs intentionally after you throw some darts, but this is a weird one.
George is playing creatures. He's turning things sideways. What's happening?
Yeah, Cauldra complete. Card that was quite the shock when it first was printed. Like, this is just a chroma on a sword, right? But yeah, George.
A chroma?
Yeah, a chroma. Kind of the original.
Oh, a chroma, like the creature. I was hearing chroma like chromatic.
No, yeah.
I see.
A chroma, AKR OMA. One of the original baddie angel girls of the Magic the Gathering lore. Known for having like just several keyword soup abilities, kind of like the OG questing beast. But Cauldra Complete, kind of a harkening back to that. Well, excuse me, it's not a harkening back to it. It's really a harkening back to Shield of Cauldra, Helm of Cauldra, Sword of Cauldra, but in the same way as Chroma has.
Oh, so sorry there. That is totally my bad. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I just had like a little trippy fade in, fade out there.
Bryce, can you figure out what game they're on, please? Thank you, friend.
Master of the Pearl Trident is the play, and gonna have pretty soon here some more triggers for the Deeproot Pilgrimage.
That's my new favorite card for this Merfolk deck. It's getting played in all forms of Merfolk, Pioneer, Standard, and Modern. And here comes the second one. Let me get it up on the screen here. Game 2, George got the first. So let me update that here. Deeproot Pilgrimage is a huge card for Merfolk, though.
Swinging in with the Tishana's Tidebinder. Endurance for the blocker, but if I'm perfectly familiar with Deeproot Pilgrimage, he should have 2 more tokens, right? Is that whenever a Merfolk gets tapped?
1 or more. So if multiple are getting tapped?
No, yeah.
But he has 2, so they should trigger twice.
Yep,
there we go. We're grabbing
he's catching it now. We're playing Wednesday Night Modern. There's no big deal about, a little bit of lapse timing on those things, but
absolutely, yeah. Josh, a little bit newer to Modern, is trying out Modern so that he can play at MagicCon, and we've had him on stream a couple of times now. We appreciate him being brave and trying out his deck in front of dozens of people.
Modern in the one format not being featured at MagicCon, but
Right, yeah.
some side events will do.
Indeed, indeed. And Merfolk's a great one to try out. My first Modern deck as well. And he's doing pretty good work with it here. He's 1-1. This germ token is beefed up though. It has both a Batter Skull and a Cauldron on it now.
Yeah, what's the Cauldron stats? 5/5 or
5/5, yeah.
So this is a 9/9 with basically every keyword in
Keyword
the game.
soup. We'll get Cauldron up because that's the harder one to remember.
Yeah, Lifelink, Vigilance on the Batter Skull, and then a whole bunch of other stuff from Cauldron.
Oh, except I don't think I can actually bring it up on the backup match.
It's probably
I think
a way,
that
but
might be.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
George gets an attack in there.
There we go. Got it.
First strike, trample, indestructible, haste, and then also like exile touch, as it's sometimes referred to.
That's what I call it. Yeah.
I think Josh is just looking for some more. Wow, it's so funny actually. It just occurred to me because this Merfolk deck is like usually really good against George, right? Island walk. George has no islands in play.
No, not at all.
Insane. He's just gonna actively not fetch up like Spar's headquarters and then just.
Yeah, spreading seas could be strong here. We're
Sure.
a little bit past that though. I think Josh is mere moments away from being dead. Ooh, Reprieve is a card we sometimes see George play.
Yeah,
Put that card back in your hand.
Merfolk Trickster cycles the Reprieve essentially just to get deeper in the deck. Oh, I guess is the Trickster double blue because he doesn't actually.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So he actually can't recast right now. George is about to offer the Nux.
Yeah, I saw the Nux come out. We're just doing some math to make very, very sure. Because the Lord does buff these guys.
I think
it's 8.
I think he's offering the Nux for Joshua's sake. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. George will take it down into there in our backup match playing in an unusual deck for him. Unusual deck for most people, I would say. Not really a typical Modern deck there. Unfortunately, sort of probably put together at the last minute, so we don't have a deck list to show you here, folks. But we can take a look at George as he sideboards here.
Yeah, we're definitely getting to that point where you can just kind of put like good cards in your deck and the mana can support it. You know, so George is like, I'll just put all the best cards in the format into my deck, and I don't think that applies to Stoneforge Mystic, but every other card's pretty darn good.
Yeah, George said he couldn't help me commentate today because he has to practice for RC Denver. But I think he's lied to me because if he's playing this at RC Denver, I don't think he's gonna do too well.
Yeah, I mean reps are reps, but when you're casting,
when you're casting those cards and playing against Merfolk, I don't know if you would call that a rep.
Yeah, like it's just one of those things. Like Renin 6, Leyland Binding, Orcus Bowmasters, recipe for success. But at the same time, like, I mean. A plan's a plan, right? And even if you don't have one, good cards will get you there.
Yeah.
I'm going to take 2 seconds to give you all a break, and we are going to double check if there aren't some matches we can get on camera for you for a quick Game 3, since this one ended kind of quickly. But otherwise, we'll see you in the 4th round for the final match. Find our winner and the most league point winner of the evening in just a bit. Stay tuned. Welcome back, folks, for round number 4. We are here with week 3 of our Modern League. And once again, familiar face, Martin Slowinski. We're giving him that third chance to redeem themselves on
redeem himself? I think he's won both times.
No. I mean on accidental illegal game actions.
Oh.
But yeah, playing for the 4-0. We're gonna see who wins the night and gets the best pile of store credit and leaderboard points for that 12-week league.
Also like to shout out Harrison. Wasn't too sure about being on camera, is being very brave, and so he said he asked chat to be gentle on him. He hasn't played Modern in a little bit. Coming back with Ponza, which I know people are a big fan of. It's a land destruction based deck, so we'll see how it shapes up here against Rhinos.
Yeah, Harrison, one of our regulars at the store pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, pre-lockdown, pre-shutdown, coming up here with the same deck that he played back then. So it's kind of been a night of callbacks tonight with you know, Storm and now Ponza, obviously. A deck that Harrison, you know, his first Modern deck, he's been sticking with it, and he brought it back to 2024. So we're looking forward to seeing what he can pull off, and happy to have him here.
Yeah, I was trying to find some land destruction decks on Goldfish. This deck is not played too often. I don't know exactly what build he's working with here. The ones I'm finding are like, is it generally I don't know exactly. You're probably more familiar with Ponza. I don't know too much about it.
Yeah, so Panza is a Gruul aggro / land destruction deck. They kind of play out, I would say, a little bit like the Moon Stompy decks in Legacy play, right? They're trying, like, their whole goal was to slam a turn 2 Moon effect in Magus of the Moon or Blood Moon, or even just a simple Stone Rain / Molten Rain. So they do that with the power of the Arbor Elf and Utopia Sprawl engine that you might be familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Turn 1 Arbor Elf, turn 2 enchant a enchant the forest, and then obviously do more fun things with it and make a bunch of mana. So Panza was kind of a weird name. You're a little bit familiar with the origin of that nomenclature.
Right. It's like a cheese, like pizza thing from Wisconsin.
Basically, yeah. Back in the day, Magic community was a lot more loose and fun with their naming conventions for decks. There's a lot of weird ones out there, Panza being one of them. I couldn't tell you specifically how the name got there. I've forgotten kind of why, but then again, back then, decks didn't always need a why, right? As far as their deck names. But it is kind of a calzone from this place near Waukesha, Wisconsin, and that's what the deck's named now for the past 15 years, 20 years.
I know when CubeCon happened, a bunch of the people with CubeCon, because that's like a Madison, Wisconsin-based organization as well, that they're big fans of Ponza too.
Yep. As we see Utopia Sprawl turn 1 into the turn 2 Blood Moon, exactly what Harrison wants to see. Unfortunately, Marty got a Crashing Footfalls on suspend underneath the Blood Moon, so gonna have a bunch of mountains in play. Well, he gets the fetch here for an island most likely, but unfortunately, still gonna be able to get those free 4/4s in a couple turns here.
Yeah, what does Ponza have in its retinue to deal with creatures?
It's honestly hard to say with how many new cards have come up since this deck was actually a force of the format. We did even see it a lot on the series with some of our regulars back in 2019, 2018. But like I said, there's honestly just so many options. They play obviously like cards like Lightning Bolt, but really it ends up often playing like kind of a mid-range like big red style deck. Like they slam their prison effect on turn 2 or turn 3 in a Blood Moon or a Stone Rain. They really restrict the mana resources, and then they often just kind of like pick your poison when it comes to any like 3, 4, 5 drop in the red or green card pool. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
often Chandras, things like that. They would love to play Fury, but Harrison came a little bit late to the party.
For sure. This Flame of Anor, it's one of the modes is a shatter, right? So it can't deal with the enchantment.
I think it is, but I'm not positive that it is.
Well, let me pull that up.
Either way, it definitely can't deal with a Blood Moon. As we see here, Pillage.
Well, let's get Pillage on the screen as well.
Okay, yeah. One of them is Destroy Artifact. Speaking of Destroy Artifact, Pillage is that Stone Rain Shatter hybrid card, as it were.
Yeah, so we're going to target one of the islands, I assume, here.
Yeah.
In response, going to use the mana Flame of Anor.
Gonna just draw 2 cards here.
Yep.
Yeah, so even when decks get to kind of fetch in the face of the Blood Moon and get their basics, Panza's strategy is to kind of clean up those basics with their Stone Rain, Pillage, Molten Rain effects.
Mm-hmm.
And then often you just kind of lock them out, deal with whatever threat they might have, and then you just kill them with whatever you have, basically, because they can't cast spells themselves.
Yeah, Marty's got another Crashing Footfalls in hand, but you need a green to suspend that. It's not colorless like his land cycler is. You need colored mana for that. He's got this fetch, which is now just a mountain. Gonna pass it back. He's got blue and red mana, so another Flame of Anor could be cast here. Try and draw himself some outs. See if these 2 4/4s can take him home.
Yeah,
Does he have a forest even in his deck?
I was gonna say he probably has 1 forest. He has to kind of just naturally draw the forest, or he could potentially find like an Otawara, blow up the Blood Moon, give himself a moment of reprieve. But a second Pillage targeting this island is gonna spell pretty much a lot of trouble here for Mr. Marty.
A lot, yeah. I think I saw another Flame of Anor. We'll get another couple of draws here.
His only options really are just like quick study, hope to draw Force Negation if he has him in the main deck, which I assume he does.
I think he does as well. Yeah.
In the tank here with the Pillage.
I don't know what else he could respond with here. There's a Tishana's, I think, in his hand. So he could just like get that out as a body.
That makes sense.
And attack for, what is that, 11?
That makes sense. Yeah, he considers digging deeper into the deck towards his basics. Oh, Marty almost did the thing.
He almost did the thing again.
Cast off, suspend, pick up his deck to start cascading, then realizes, oh wait, I don't cascade. I just
Yep.
yeah. Had that happen a couple weeks ago with Marty. Yeah. Obviously nothing nefarious there. There's no advantage gained from accidentally flipping cards off top of your deck, but attack for 8, but he can't, obviously, because those are summoning
They
sick.
are summoning sick. When a creature spell itself comes off a suspend, it does have haste, but
Yep.
these create creature tokens, so they will not.
Yeah, I had always hoped that Footfalls was designed as a creature,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a Broodmate Dragon, if you're familiar with that effect.
I'm not.
Broodmate Dragon was a card from Standard 15 years ago, sounding more and more like a boomer.
All good. We appreciate your wisdom.
Pillage on just a mountain, just in case. Might as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Pillage
Just
the-
keep him low in resources.
Pillage the Breeding Mountain. Broodmate Dragon, a 4/4 flyer that comes into play and makes a 4/4 token flyer. So I always thought it would have been kind of interesting if Footfalls was like a creature,
Mm-hmm.
come into play, make a 4/4, so like it has half haste. Like
I see.
Like the token wasn't hasty, but like the 1/2 was at least. But then again, this card didn't really need any help being better, right?
Harrison basically just putting down a blocker here in this Magus of the Moon. I don't expect this Blood Moon to leave the table. Like Dakota said, we do have an Otawara that could perhaps get channeled at some point. We do need blue mana for that as well. No blocks from these Rhinos, though. Harrison down to 10 here to Marty's 16.
Yeah, this is the rough thing that we kind of predicted. Harrison got the turn 2 Blood Moon effect into play, but Marty slipped in the suspend Rhinos early on, and kind of just doesn't care about the Blood Moon at this point.
The creature side of the spell, I think he's stomping here. The creature side is a good blocker in this Bone Crusher Giant. It's a 4/3, so can trade with one of these Rhinos.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure the Otawara is dead. Yeah, I don't think Marty's got more islands. I think he had 2, right? And both of them are gone now.
Yeah, he had 2 blown up so far. It's not certain if he has a third one, but
Harrison will get in here for a couple points of damage, stomp for some extra value off of this card, then pay the Bone Crusher proper.
yep.
If Marty tries to target this as well, oh, he could subtlety it here.
Yeah, gonna just keep it off, remove the blocker opportunity, and get in for get in for 8 more damage, hopefully.
Yeah, we're still in Harrison's turn here, so we'll decide, put this on top or bottom.
Also, if he top decks the Forest, he does get to Violent Outburst and makes this 8 damage into 10 damage. Forest?
Oh, man.
Not Forest. Okay. Close enough, though.
It's down to 2.
Still in great shape, obviously. Harrison's like, but I turned 2 Blood Moon to you. How can I lose?
Dom and I have talked a lot about this, not just preventing or not just stopping your opponent, but actually taking the game down as well. So
Yep.
Harrison was able to do the thing, but Marty, that suspend spell on turn 1 got him there. Just wasn't able to deal with those creatures, unfortunately. So Marty will take game 1 there. While players are shuffling up here, let me see if I can find a deck list. These are all...
Yeah, that's not Ponza.
Yeah, this is not Ponza. Gruul Land Destruction. There's one.
Yep, there's an example for us.
There's an example. This is a much more updated list, so I don't know if it's going to be...
I don't think it's worth showing, to be honest.
You don't think so?
It doesn't even have... Oh, it has pillages, I guess.
It's got pillages, yeah.
Screw it. Let's show the people some Magic cards.
All right, you vamp for a little bit. Hold on.
I'm going to talk about Magic the Gathering as Marty sideboards. Once again, the 3rd time we've seen Marty tonight, but if you keep winning, you're going to keep being on camera here. King Chainsaw, Casey Ryback says, looks like Harrison has a card board, potentially, which actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, yeah, so we have a kind of Ponza deck on the screen for you, just so you can see an example of what these decks try to do. I don't know if Harrison has half these cards, but just an example.
Like you said, he played this before.
Yeah, I mean
before COVID, so he doesn't
hardly,
even have like MH2 cards in here.
I think he said he's gotten a couple updates added to the deck. But yeah, I mean, this has hardly been a strategy for almost 5 years now. So whatever this list will be found is not quite the same thing.
I can keep digging here. Gruul Land Destruction.
It's not too important. We got the gist of green red, restrict your mana, play some kind of mid-range threat.
Oh
Um,
gosh, yeah. Goldfish is pulling from 2021 all the way down here. Okay, wow.
yeah,
Yeah, people do not play this deck too often.
it's hard to keep up when your game plan is just so kind of, I wouldn't say linear, but it's just like, all right, land a blood moon, try to win somehow. Because there are so
Mhm.
many effects in this game nowadays that draw extra cards, cost 0 mana.
Mhm.
Um, that as we saw there, Harrison did his thing and it wasn't good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll look back in on our players here
I
as they are shuffling up.
I'm excited to see the Karn plan that King Chainsaw pointed out. By the way, um, yeah, hard to keep up when they ban a good red card. Exactly. Harrison came back to Modern just a couple weeks ago. Uh,
Just in time.
just too late to be playing to be able to play a powerful card like Fury in this deck. Who would arguably massively appreciate that card?
Oh yeah, no, that card would be huge against this Rhinos deck right now.
Yeah, in Panza in general, it's like kind of the exact card that this kind of deck wants.
Mhm.
Mid-rangey threat, kills fast, is very versatile. I mean, I don't need to tell chat why Fury's a good card.
Yeah, chat knows all about that, I'm sure. They're still bemoaning that Grief didn't get the hammer as well.
I also disagree with that, but I understand why people don't like getting griefed.
Yeah, yeah. It leads to some feel bad moments for sure.
Not many staples, Harrison Staples deck. Yeah,
Ah, there you go.
I was, I was,
Well done.
I was like, I resisted the urge to make that kind of joke when we did the introduction here about Harrison, not a staple of Wednesday night stream or whatever. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah. Not a staple of the modern metagame at all, Panza. Land destruction. Marty playing Rhinos though. Pretty good deck in the format.
at the end of the day, it's it's fun to play Rhinos mirrors and Murktide mirrors and Omnath
Mhm.
mirrors, but I mean
Dude, what about a Panza mirror?
uh,
Does that just take forever?
I mean,
Because you just like go down to no resources. Because
I
there's no like interaction. There's no like counter spell. So you just like eat it on the nose.
yeah, I kind of couldn't even theorize what disgusting slugfest that looks like, but it's probably just whoever has whoever like lands a Chandra or a Karn and actually gets to like get the card advantage over this weird mid-range resource mirror. You know what I
Or
mean?
like slams the Magus of the Moon and just has like 10 turn beats.
Right, or like whoever gets to like slam the turn 2 Stone Rain and then like keep that advantage. Like
Right.
press the advantage.
So maybe like really play draw dependent.
Probably. Um, Harrison getting the chance to see a lot of new cards though.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely as a newer player, competitive player myself, like getting your sea legs in a format can be really intimidating, but also really fun. Like I like jumping. I'm jumping into standard right now, and getting to see a lot of new cards and experience new play patterns and new meta games and that kind of stuff is very exciting. It can be overwhelming though, and a little scary. So we appreciate Harrison doing that on camera in front of people because that makes it even scarier.
Oh, I just saw what I think is a Bonfire of the Damned. Yes, it is. Bonfire of the Damned. Not where you want to see it there in the opening hand, but what a fun card to have in this deck.
Bonfire. It is a miracle card. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
that's why you don't want it in your hand there.
Not awesome in the opening hand, but still a sweet card.
Yeah, it's very cool there. Miracle cards you won't see a lot of in modern, but there's one for you.
Harrison learning.
Pre-game effects.
Yeah, Harrison learning about the card Gemstone Caverns right now.
Oof. Yeah, excuse me. You're on the play? No, no.
Yeah.
No more advantage for you. Sorry.
Harrison's
Especially for a Panza player? Oh my god.
Right. I mean, it effectively just takes the play,
Mm-hmm.
but still, like, doesn't feel good when you're on the draw twice in a row.
100%. Yeah. No, that definitely takes some momentum away from Harrison there. He will play a Utopia Sprawl, I assume?
Yeah. I assume this
Arboreal Grazer?
Yeah, Arbor Elf.
Arbor Elf, there we go.
Yeah, that's the kind of like the 1-2 combo of Utopia Sprawl decks. Well,
Oof, and a island cycler here in Lorien Reveal will help Marty fix his mana too. Off to a really good start.
for sure.
We'll see if Harrison can recover here.
Getting the basic, very disciplined. But let's see if it matters.
Very disciplined, yeah, I would say so.
We'll see if it matters when Harrison just
Blows it up.
undoubtedly, yeah, just plays a Stone Rain anyway.
We'll see here, though. Marty does have a, force negation in hand.
Yeah,
2 force negations. Oh my god. Is
almost
there
feel
another
like
blue spell to pitch to it, though? We might have to pitch one to the other.
saw Shardless.
Oh, yeah? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Might be
But
too
we might want to
Shardless.
hold on to it, though, to hit them Rhinos.
Yeah, that's always a decision point in these formats that have the force effect cards. You're like, well, this card's like really good. That's why I put it in my deck. But sometimes I just have to use the force.
Mm.
Forest, the second land, so
No red mana.
not going to be a red spell.
Really?
Actually, that's not quite true. If he has Utopia Sprawl, he gets to put it on the forest, tap it for
Untap.
red. Yeah.
Untap with the Arbor Elf.
Right, yeah, he would have access to 4 mana this turn if he has the Sprawl. Sprawl the forest, tap it for red green. Arbor Elf, tap it for red green.
There we go.
Turn 2 Chandra if all goes well.
Turn 2 Karn.
Or a Karn, yeah.
Yeah.
Karn is just because of the versatility that it affords itself with a new set of artifacts every 3 months. Obviously, it's kind of become like this go-to engine for these mid-range decks.
Are you getting a good peek at his hand there? I can't quite catch it.
I see a Clothis, which is pretty sick.
What's a Clothis? Oh, that's the Gruul. I think I know how to spell this card. Hold on. Clothis. Yeah.
Nailed it. Clothis got a
Gas.
Destiny. It's kind of just another red style Howling effect. One of those red effects that like lets you get a extra card and kind of deal damage or make mana. All things that the Ponza deck wants to be doing.
Oh man, Marty found his mountain. But that'll cast a Shardless with a gemstone in play.
Yeah. You may be confused at home a little bit. Where's the green source? Gemstone Mine was revealed with pregame effects and taps for any color.
It's got a luck counter on it. It's lucky.
I guess it's just when you need to like not take damage, and this deck can afford it. Like what? Because a lot of decks like they'll play basics just to like have hedging against Blood Moon effects, but then like they don't usually play the mountain.
Yeah.
But I guess because like you don't need to against the Blood Moon. But I guess Marty is just so he can fetch it when he needs to and not take damage. Obviously.
Yeah. Maybe with the burn player in the room.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We do have a pretty resonant burn player here every week in, week out. So Harrison's learning how Cascade works, and Marty says, now these are going to get shuffled on the bottom of my library, but you do have the option to like just look through them if you want. He's like, oh, sure, I'll do that.
There you go. Yeah. Take the time to familiarize yourself with the deck. This is good reps here.
Don't stay in there for too long though, Harrison. We gotta keep going. Just reading every single card, like
that's why he said he didn't want to be on camera. He's like, I'm gonna take so long. I was like, it's okay. You play at your own pace, no worries.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally here to have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good vibes all around. You gotta get Ponza on.
This
deck's great.
Right now.
I could go for a Ponza too. Yeah. Maybe we'll get Portillo's because we're staying late tonight.
Maybe.
While we de-sleeve this thousands and thousands of cards.
Yeah, we just bought a lot of cards, so if you're looking for some cool foils,
ooh yeah,
hit me up on Twitter. I'm gonna be posting the whole spreadsheet later this week, but you got a lot of foils. If you like shiny cardboard, we probably got it right now.
Oh my gosh, we have so many cards. Every single one in a penny sleeve too. So if you want, if you want to come down, we'll give you some store credit to de-sleeve them. So I don't gotta. I got long nails on right now. It's hard.
Clothis is gonna do some work, I think, as long as Harrison can stabilize this board.
We're checking for devotion here. It's the old school, or no, this is the new school Theros. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So it is still 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Theros Beyond Death, red and green. So he has Pip from Noble Hierarch, Pip from Arbor Elf, Pip from Utopia Sprawl,
and 2 from itself.
Right. So we're
this
too short.
art is gas. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thick mommy.
I was gonna say she's a babe. Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing. We're agreeing.
Basically.
Look at her. Battle babe.
All right. So I think we're in Harrison's turn, and he's kind of tanking about how to proceed from here. Marty cascaded into the Rhinos, and
it's just passing.
Yeah, I missed what we got to reveal off Clothis in the beginning of the turn, but probably Marty didn't take damage, so it must have been the mana version. the mana trigger. Glory B, no way. That deals with a Rhino pretty
Is
nicely.
that Glory Bringer?
Heck yes.
Oh, what a heater of a card. I love this card, man.
Flying Haste Exert.
This is when I was still playing pre-releases every set. Ooh, this card is a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah,
Exerts? Remember that mechanic?
Yeah. It's we've been talking all night about how Footfalls makes you kind of spend multiple cards to deal with a card.
Mm-hmm.
Glorybringer kind of just takes care of 2 Rhinos by
2 for
itself.
1, yeah.
Yeah, you
nice,
have to
nice.
swing in there.
Glory Banger, yeah.
Glory Banger. That's so good. As we see it hit the battlefield, it's going to go for an attack, I assume, to get the free... Yeah, to get the free kill on the first Rhino. Take some damage when it attacks.
Yeah, we're ahead on life here, too. Let me update this. Apologies.
Oh,
where do we gain life from? Clothis?
Yeah, I think Clothis did do the damage.
I put her up on screen twice, and I didn't read her either time.
Sure.
So distracted by that art.
Yeah. And we did turn on the Clothis with its Glorybringer, by the way.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
It's a 4 or 5, it looks like.
Full attacks. Here we go.
Wow.
You attack? No. I'm attacking. Yeah, this force is not doing great anymore. It's good against these Stone Rain effects, but you can't counter creatures.
Marty takes the full 8, and Harrison does not exert. I don't know. I think I would have exerted, but Harrison might have some extra cards in his hand that...
Maybe he just plans to kill next turn.
Yeah, that
is just racing. Here we go.
I mean,
10-11.
Second Glorybringer would definitely do it.
Oh, there you go.
As long as there's no subtlety.
Oh, second Glorybringer. Oh my god. Oh, shardless though? Jeez. Okay. This game is about to be over in one way or the other very soon. Here comes the Footfalls. Don't want to show Harrison that comment, dear Marty? Just teasing.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Charger fan. That turn 2, Utopia Sprawl, I was like, man, Marty has 2 Force Negations. Does he just spend this on this? Because it's like so important. Lets him explode with 4 mana on turn 2. And looks like Charger fan, some of the chat might agree. It feels bad to just use your 2 cards, force effect to counter
for a 1 mana spell.
Yeah, 1 mana enchantment, but it's so much more than that with an Arbor Elf on turn 2, all the above.
All
and,
right.
and Marty just still has 2 forces in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harrison's just playing spells. I think, there's a mentality against a Blood Moon deck like, okay, I just have to have shields up for Blood Moon, but Harrison got on the board mighty quickly.
Indeed. And he could put this game away, but I think he doesn't have enough. This Clothis can't get through. Just the Glorybringer.
I mean, it's indestructible, so it can attack.
Yeah, but it doesn't have vigilance.
Yeah. Depending on what Harrison has as a follow-up, Marty might be forced to block, but yeah, it's all kind of contingent on if he has some kind of removal or extra damage sitting in the background.
Yeah, the trample on these Rhinos is super relevant here as well.
I'm with you, Mikey. We're all rooting for Ponza right now. You got to give the underdog some credit.
Come on, let's go. Yeah, Marty firmly in the no game 3 camp.
Marty in the please don't have another dragon.
I mean, if he had the dragon, we would have seen it already.
Right. It's so funny when I just remembered we do know about a Bonfire of the Damned. Unfortunately, Marty has the Force Negations, but that it might be awkward if Harrison's like relying on a Bonfire to get through like the last final points of damage. Not to mention Clothis' beginning of turn ability actually just dealt 2 more damage there.
Yeah. Okay, so we're in combat now. You can exert it as you attack it, so I think we're still
deciding
on that. I think you gotta if you're gonna attack with it.
Yeah, Harrison felt like Harrison was really in the driver's seat, but that second Footfalls kind of muddied the waters on.
100%. Yeah, without that one, I think Harrison wins this very cleanly.
Absolutely.
Bonfire? I'm on Team Ponza now.
Haters.
Literally.
I think he is exerting. We put a little token that says this can't untap. And
take the damage.
Put Marty down to 4. And
3? Why 3?
may have discounted something.
Oh. The Iggy.
Oh, Exalted. Yep. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Very good. Yeah, goes for the extra points. Oh man, Harrison shakes his head, puts his head
Oh
in his hands, and says,
no.
"But you were tapped out. I thought I was good."
Yeah. Oh no.
I mean, Harrison's not dead though, right? Marty has 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 damage, but Harrison has that indestructible blocker.
Indestructible blocker. Yeah. He
Oh,
tapped out his
so it should be only 12 damage coming through, unless Marty has a way to get rid of the Clothis.
12 damage. No, cuz the shardless is oh. So block a full 4.
Yep.
And then yeah, 12 through.
The Clothis's life gain is doing a lot of work here.
Indeed. Yeah, it's keeping him in the game here. And now Marty can't swing, right? Or he's got to swing just a little. He's got to leave some stuff
so
back here.
hard
Oh
to
my
say.
goodness.
And the Glory Beezy.
It's exerted now, so it can't attack
Exerted.
next turn. This Clothis will put... He only needs to get in for a single point, though.
Dragonite is another Rhino Charger fan. Just another 4/4 trampler.
Yeah, another Rhino token. Yeah, block one of them, go to a single point. Ah.
Yep. And then
does Marty have any...
Right, has lethal on the crackback, but
Where's
obviously...
their life gain?
Oh, Marty, why you gotta be like this?
Oh, Marty! What's the rip off the top? Does he have Lightning Bolt?
I mean, yeah, this deck definitely has damage effects. So you could...
Come on!
It could be any number of things, from another Bonfire. Well, I think we know that... Or no, Marty pitched Force of Force, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Marty pitched Force of Force, so... A Bonfire off the top.
Yeah, just flip the card. Flip the card. Yeah, his life should be at 3, right? I was trying to figure out...
No, we think...
There was no life gain, right?
No, I think Optimus Prime is saying that he accidentally bumped his life total.
Yeah. He
Either
moved his
way,
life from 4 to 3.
Draws up
No,
Pillage,
he should be
I
at
think.
3.
No, yeah, he's at 3. They're saying that Marty accidentally
Yeah.
touched it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there we go.
Yep.
So much Marty sass in chat. Oh my gosh. Oh, what are the cards? No, we don't have...
Yeah, I think he drew Pillage.
Oh.
It would have been insane if he had, like, Molten Rain, because that'll deal 2 damage when he casts it.
Mm-hmm.
If Clothis was able to deal 2 more damage to finish it off. Some combination of that, but I think he drew Pillage, which does not deal any damage.
Yeah, we only have 3 attackers because of the exert. Oh my gosh.
Harrison looked so defeated from that Force negation.
If he had exerted the turn prior, would that...
It's really hard to say.
That gives you slightly more life, but I don't think that matters.
No. Harrison extends the hand.
Oh my god, so many Rhinos!
Very close. So many outs, to be quite honest. And
close game. That was a close game. Oh my gosh.
When a game ends 1-3, like it's exciting. I mean, it feels bad, but it also feels good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh. Marty just the guy that has, how do I say, 3 Rhinos.
Has it all, yeah.
I was distracted by chat, excuse me. But three resolved footfalls is gonna make any match hard.
Yeah, exactly. Great match to end the night though. Quite the triumph from our Rhinos player. Won 3 matches on stream tonight. So well done, Marty. That'll definitely give him some good points for the leaderboard. Speaking of, I think I might have that available here. Let me see. Yes, we do. This is after week 2. So Marty will gain 13 points tonight, going undefeated. That'll bring him up to a solid 22. 24, excuse me. Tom and Valerie both were not here tonight. Adam was, so Adam will have some points, but that'll put Marty very firmly at the top of our leaderboard here. So check out our Discord for updates on that. Speaking of our Discord, here is that for y'all. If you want to check out updates for our Modern League, chat with any of our players about their deck list, get some gaming in yourself, check out our Discord there. If you want to buy some Magic cards that you saw on stream tonight, we have thousands of them at nerdragegaming.com. We ship anywhere across the country. You can pick them up in store or at one of our events. We're listing more cards every day, so make sure you add them to your wish list if you don't see them and get notified immediately when we do list them. We also have a loyalty rewards program, so the more you spend, the more you save. Before we head out, we'll do a quick more couple of ads, but I just want to thank you all for joining us here tonight. Dakota, you were a pleasure as always to have on.
Bet.
So I appreciate you. If you enjoy Pokemon, we will be live tomorrow with our challenge. We also sell and buy Pokemon cards, so check out our TCG Player Pro page, nrg.tcgplayerpro.com. We also do Lorcana. We have a $1,000 prize pool going away to players this Saturday. So if you play Lorcana or want to give it a go, come join our 1K this Saturday. We also have pre-orders up for Into the Inklands on our website right now. That's the third set for Lorcana. Check it out there. If you enjoy Bandai games, we have Digimon and One Piece. We have our teams traveling to Nats right now in California, so check them out there. Shout them out if you see them on coverage. We'll be cheering on our coworker Zeke as well as a bunch of other teammates there. We sell and trade and buy all of these cards. NRG.TCGPlayerPro. If you want to check out our One Piece League, we have that on Tuesdays. Let me see here. Anything else we want to talk about? If you love competitive Magic, we'll be in the Chicagoland area February 17th and 18th for the two formats that are going to be at the Pro Tour the next week. After that, Pioneer and Standard. We have a bunch of big names coming for that, getting in their testing before the big event. So if you want to rub shoulders with them and get a little bit of competitive Magic in yourself, head on over February 17th and 18th. Sign up on melee.gg today. With that being said, though, that'll wrap up our coverage for tonight of our Modern League. My name is Aviva Goodman, alongside Dakota Clark. Have a good night, folks.